Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada. It's the giant Bombcast for March 22nd, 2022. That's a lot of twos and then a three.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are into numerology or not, but I noticed that.
This is a small room full of, excuse my language, bad bees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jan, you're a man about town.
Yes, I am.
You ever been in the same place as Krayshawn?
Yes.
She's
I went to a show where she was supposed to perform. I went with my friend Ish, and someone broke a beer bottle over another patron's head, and then Krayshawn said, "I got a dip," before she was about to go on stage, and she left, and then Ish was very disappointed. He did not get to see Krayshawn.
What?
Shouts out to Slim's RIP, one of the jankiest, best music places in the world.
That all makes sense now. It's like, yes, okay, Slim's, yes. That's
to put in further perspective, it was two women that got into the fight. As to what it was about, no clue. Maybe one of them called the other one a basic B.
Yeah. Oh man, that would have.
Oh dear.
That would have done it.
Oh dear.
I'm telling you, the messiest fights are usually two girls. My God, dangerous.
I think the last time I was in a place where someone got glassed like that, it was a woman cracking another woman with a pint glass or something.
Damn.
Oh, Jesus.
Jeez,
You risk your own. Oh, they don't care. They don't care.
Like, what? Think about what frame of mind you need to spiral into where you're like, okay, I'm now at the point where I'm hitting another human with a fucking pint glass
in front of a lot of other people that can like verify that you did it. Tons
all
of
around.
Yeah.
Like it's these road rage freaks too. Like these people who are just like they snap.
The last time I saw a road rage incident on the internet, it was being filmed by the participant, and it was like, here's a dude. It was like a dude driving a car, dash cam style thing, and then like straight up, he's like looking like behind him, and then sees the car getting alongside him. So you only really see it from his perspective, and you just see him just go like, all right, and he just pulls out a pistol and just goes pop, 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 pop out the window. And like filmed it, and then that video got out somehow. I assume it was evidence that maybe leaked out that way. He probably didn't post it somewhere.
Like, what the fuck? What people just self-report voluntarily too?
Yeah. They just the amount of fucking dry snitching out here is wild. Like the fucking I don't know if this made it outside of the fucking Southland, but some fucking dipshit rented a Tesla.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, you see him jumping over the fucking hill.
I know the whole thing.
I was gonna ask y'all during the mic pre-show.
It's become like a point of fascination with like streamers too. So a couple of people I've been watching are covering it. It's nuts.
Like I first of all, sick jump. Second of all, I just love how much that wretched car just falls to so many pieces, like a toy. Like it's just chunks off.
Pretty much any car would fall apart.
But it's like I've seen other cars. I've seen other cars that are not supposed to do jumps like that make jumps, but like because the Tesla is like kind of low to the ground, so like the bottom of the chassis like scraped the whole way down, and like just so many parts flew off of it, and it all just looked like cheap plastic exploding. It was beautiful.
What an absolute psychopath! Can we just get that? Like, fuck the car,
it's the clearest example of like what the fuck is like wrong with where we're at in terms of like the influencer thing. They're like, okay, this dude did it, and then two motherfuckers filmed it to put it on their Instagram too. And
are other people going to do this stunt now?
Like cops on Twitter. Yeah, this is the new challenge.
I
mean, if it starts a fucking bust up a Tesla challenge, then maybe that's not maybe something good can come from it. But like. The idea that that's just like something people go like, oh yeah, no, let's do this. That it's like, and in that, like, there's a way to rent a car and fuck it up.
Yeah.
That doesn't involve you smashing into other people's fucking cars. Like, there's a safe way to fucking do that. If that's what you want to do, you know, that's as Bam Margera once taught us. You pay the extra insurance, you could do whatever you want to a car. But like, it's just like, you just look at that and go like, okay, like you're just doing this to try to like gain more fucking followers or clout or whatever, and we've incentivized this behavior pretty directly now. But like, no attempt to hide it, like obviously, because like the fucking LAPD was out on Twitter going like, yeah, all our tips are pointing to 3 Instagram accounts, and we're looking for, we know,
we're gonna sponsor them. We actually think
themselves.
They've made it to the next round, so good job. There seems to be no consequence for any of this, right?
Not
like
really.
we'll see. You know, like you see, well, not people, but smashed into parked cars.
Property, like, everyone glosses over the fact that like all those people came close to dying.
Yeah,
They all almost died.
Like, whatever.
All
like,
those
like
people filming it were so close to the car jump. Like
really?
like there was a wider angle shot from some different camera, and I was like, holy shit, these people are like 5 feet away from this car careening into the sky. Like, do you not give a single goddamn about your own personal safety, let alone the safety of others?
The answer is no.
No. And if those people died, fucking good on them. You did it. Like, you're right. I mean, like, that's fine, right? But if
games win stupid prizes.
Totally. If, you know, Darwin Award style shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Going down there, you know.
Something I also find concerning is that like, don't Teslas have like a very explodey battery, more explodey than most, you know, other cars? That it's like a lithium style like fire that is like really hard to get under control if it does explode. It's like, that's going to be,
you might be right there. Yeah.
That's going to be a whole nother
Guess that's under the
style of
assumption
car crash.
these gents thought about any of this.
No.
right.
I'm just
You're
saying,
giving
like,
them way too much credit.
in addition, I'm not saying anyone thought of anything. I'm just saying, like, in addition to, you know, jumping a car and potentially blowing the fucking car up, it's going to blow up in a whole unique way that fire departments aren't quite sure how to deal with.
I don't know how much of that is founded, but yes, don't be a fucking moron is really the true takeaway of like all that stuff.
That's asking.
My God.
A lot.
You need to be a moron,
rewarding
like, find
people
ways
like
to do it away from other humans that are just trying to fucking do their shit, right? Like,
didn't someone like take credit for it that didn't do it also?
Great.
Probably. Fuck, why not? I did it. It was me.
Fucking lunatic.
Follow
was like,
me on TikTok at Fred Durst 2000.
Following in Elon's footsteps, taking credit for something he didn't do.
Yeah.
Their idol's footsteps.
It's. I mean, it's a good jump though. I mean, I'll give him that.
I want to know
they really fucked that car up.
Thinks about it though.
Yeah.
Like, what is her stance on Tesla jumps?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I feel like Lil Debbie would be all for it, and Krayshawn is a responsible mother at this point. And is like,
who knew that's where the narrative would go?
Yeah.
Ala Murder Zone. Creation.
Right. Yes. Where's V Nasty in all this? I mean, at the end of the day,
is she free yet?
I believe V Nasty did get out.
Man.
At some point. But I don't know for certain.
Do you okay, Jeff? You're a hip hop connoisseur.
Sure.
In the way,
yes.
So I've seen a lot of youth really get into Wu-Tang and the Beastie Boys, which is cool to see. Do you think we're ever gonna go full circle and go back to the post backpack pre-internet mixtape rap of like whatever it is that Creation and that similar ilk was of that time?
I mean, that was SoundCloud and Tiny Chat and all this fucking other online shit that spilled out into the real world.
Yes, this is Lil B's legacy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it kind of is, which is disturbing to think that Lil B has a legacy that deep. But I guess that's where we're at. No, I think Krayshawn's still out there DJing and stuff. I think she's still doing, but I don't think she's making her own music as much.
I hope
days.
She brings her baby to her DJ sets. I would drop a stupid amount of money to see Creation DJ.
Just like an Ergo baby with the kid in the front of it, and just
like
turning knobs,
and it's all pre-recorded. So she's just like doing it for the looks. She's just pressing buttons that don't even do anything.
How dare you insinuate that Krayshawn would do something like that? All right. Well, I guess okay. I was gonna put this just straight up in the news section, and didn't. But did anyone else see the Pusha T Arby's commercial?
No. What's all that?
Oh man,
What is that?
Goodness.
You were on a bad part of Twitter if this didn't cross your plate yesterday.
This
Really?
was fantastic.
So I got like little drips and drabs. Like I got morsels of it. Like all the words you just said,
Yeah,
I'd say like 70% of them, triggered these like familiarities a little bit with what's been going on this week. I can't complete the whole package, so if you could just refresh everyone's memory.
fish sandwich is popular this time of year with Lent and whatnot.
Okay.
So I normally this would be the exact sort of thing I would not want to talk about, but Jesus Christ. So Arby's put out an ad that they went and contracted fucking cocaine rap aficionado Pusha T to write and record a verse basically slinging fucking darts at the Filet-O-Fish and talking about how Arby's fish sandwich is better.
Okay.
See, I didn't know it was sponsored. Oh, that's even better.
And it's fucking amazing. And also, there's like fucking 2 cocaine references in it.
Oh,
Because it's Pusha T, and he can't fucking help it.
he loves cocaine.
He loves to sell. He loves to sell cocaine. You want to talk about the problem with hip hop? God damn it!
Yeah, let's hear it.
Not enough
People are
cocaine.
doing their own drugs.
Yes, exactly. Too many people rapping about doing drugs instead of selling them.
Wait, you would rather there be more selling rapping?
They should be rapping about selling drugs, not
feel
doing.
like-
I don't want to hear about people fucking like, yeah, I got super high and now I'm gonna mumble for an hour. Fuck that.
Anyone could do that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Selling is totally different.
Yeah,
It's more
Okay.
serious.
I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My business.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And
all right.
also like and he starts it out with a reference to he claims that and this is somewhat disputed, but it is I'd say fairly widely accepted as fact that he wrote the McDonald's "I'm Lovin' It" jingle.
He did?
Yes.
Wow,
And
that's really
so this is him fucking changing sides
Yeah.
Oh.
on top of that, and basically saying
fast
to
food
Filet-O-Fish,
rapping mercenary.
you are hiding a child. And
Rat beefs are back.
yeah,
Well, no,
basically.
fish.
And
Rap
fish.
No,
fish.
that's fish. Yeah.
Fishes.
Fish this.
I cannot believe how well made it is. I cannot believe how well made it is. And that's all I have to say about it. It is a quintessential. It is better than the track Pusha T put out recently. It is certainly better than that track he did for the League of Legends anime.
I'm listening to it now, and it's actually very good.
It's surprising.
Yeah.
But then not,
I
because
mean,
that's what Push does.
it's good though. It's all right. I mean, the budget should not be a surprise, right?
No,
Like that-
no, certainly
yeah.
not. It's I can't. I mean, I'm not going to go buy a fish sandwich because I don't.
Oh, I'm not fucking eating fish from Arby's. Like, let it be. No, that's not.
Yeah,
we're not
no,
even
that's
fucking
not-
talking about
I'll
that.
do it.
No, that's not even
I'll do
on
it.
It's
the.
not even on the table.
Yeah.
It's not even on that fucking table.
Big fish kick right now in my household. Great.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean,
But it's
give
not
it a
from
go, I guess.
Arby's.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
Where's
there's
it
no
from?
Arby's near me, so I can't participate.
You got a fishmonger? You got a fishmonger?
I know a fishmonger.
Dude, hook it up.
How does a fish get monged?
You're dressed
exactly.
like a fishmonger right now.
I went on a trip a couple weeks ago, and my buddy who's like he said it so casually, like you would say any other conversational thing. He's like, so what are we thinking? Maybe lobster tails for the weekend? I've got a fishmonger, and I'll go ahead and hit him up. And we were all just like, what?
Whoa.
We were like, what the hell does that mean?
So,
And it's
did
like
you know?
it's like your butcher, but for fish.
Yeah, it's a butcher but for fish. Did you also know there is such a thing as a cheesemonger?
Sure.
I'm
I
a
believe. Are you
cheesemonger.
kidding? So many
I'm
kinds
Mong
of
cheese.
Can you?
What other
Yeah.
things can one mong? Is my question.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Can you? If I know
I'm
a
a
guy that
game
gets
monger.
me fireworks, is that a fireworks monger?
Monger?
Too many syllables.
I feel like that's a fireworks mule because he's very clearly bringing
Yeah.
him in from out of state. You know,
Yeah.
Are we games mongers?
I think so.
Games mongers. Games mongers.
Game
Games
mongers.
mongers. Video game
Game
mongers.
monger.
Games mongers.
Games.
Games. Gamesmonger. All right, got that out of the way for
on the
this
list.
episode.
Good. All right, that's finished. Well, why don't we talk about some of these games that we monged over the last 7 days?
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow, I sure did murder that bit in its crib there. Jeez.
Ooh.
In a segment I like to call video game. No, I don't know. Wait, what if I started getting real host like? We like to call it the video game segment. Like, I don't,
Brought to you by Casper Mattresses.
brought to you by Pusha T's Arby's. Stranger of Paradise, :
Oh boy.
Final Fantasy Origin. Some people call it Sopfo. Jan, it seems like you have played. I have played some of this. I have not gotten super deep into it. You've certainly played more than I have. What do you think?
I think I've played too much of this, to be honest.
Oh no.
And I say this in a very positive way, but it feels like whoever made and designed this game got stuck in the late PS2, early PS3 360 action RPG type of game, and the only new concept that they adopted from I don't know, modern games, well, I guess it's a Diablo thing too, is the concept of loot, because everything about this game feels like a throwback, and it's amazing, and I love it. It is,
Yeah.
Mike,
that has been the takeaway from what I have seen. My partner has been playing it pretty much nonstop, and I'm fascinated by. Yeah, there is like a nostalgic era to it that is very PS3 style, and I don't even know exactly what it is, but it's very like strangely authentic in that way, and it doesn't feel like it's going for that. It feels like a happy accident.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it. Because a lot of this game feels like a happy accident, like in some of the dialogue. Or some of the cutscenes, just like the pacing of the dialogue, or just the general writing of stuff, feels like a happy accident that it winds up being funny. Like the main character Jack will interrupt several characters and just say, "Oh, that's bullshit." Or sometimes like he'll interject in a cutscene between two other characters in your party, and like introduce a random concept, and then he'll start walking away after he says his couple words and lines and be like, "I don't know," as he like plugs his like wireless headphones in, because I'm so confused as to like where and when this is taking place. I know Final Fantasy has always been kind of like,
yeah, it's a little. Well, I mean, this is supposed to be adjacent to taking place before the events of Final Fantasy 1,
where it all began.
Yeah,
but
and so technology is
also
like all over the place, right? So
yeah, there's also like songs and places from other games in the series popping up, and it's like, what's actually going on? It's a little funky in here. Some weird shit happening. Another my favorite Jack moment so far was some character warned him to stay away from the walls because they were like electrified, and Jack was like, "Yeah, I know." And the character was like, "Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to help." And Jack was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not actually angry. I'm just kind of like this."
It's so
like,
funny.
I'm not mad at you.
Things
I'm
after
just
you
like
take
this.
control of the character, or after you talk to the king, is like you talk to the queen, and she's like, I wish you would smile in front of my children, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking I don't know. The PC version for me defaulted to Japanese dialogue and English subtitles, and I had to go change it.
It's so much funnier in English. Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's what makes me think it is some kind of this is probably not intended, because I bet it doesn't play that way in Japanese. That's my guess.
I wonder.
I'm only guessing, but yeah, it's
so weird because go ahead.
Like playing it seems okay. I know that people are obviously like there's a bunch of Neo comparisons happening because it is Koei Tecmo, and there is a lineage there with those games, but like this game doesn't really remind me of like all the other stuff going on makes me forget that part. And because I feel like it probably wouldn't compare all that favorably to Neo or Neo 2 in some ways. That's my gut feeling, I guess. But like I don't know. It's people keep trying to mention that stuff, and it just seems like, I don't know. The crazy part for me is that this game has like 3 different ways to block, if not more, and
yes,
like how you block matters and different gauges and all that other stuff, and that stuff. I'm still early enough in the game, and I'm still playing like 3 other games right now in a way that means every time I come back to this game, I have forgotten which block does what, and I just like fucking not lost, but getting close to lost on what the right moves are at the right times, and all that shit.
So the job system is actually pretty extensive, and those level up the more you use them, and I forget. I think it's like the sword wielder class. It's the one that uses the sword and shield. But that job specifically, a lot of the skills are tied to success. That and like the pugilist class are tied to successfully doing a lot of parries. And the game doesn't really mention well that, like, all right, is this a parry that I have to time properly to bounce the attack back? Is this like the soul shield I'm using, or is this a separate ability? Because there's some classes where you just use the R2 attack, which is your skill-based attack, and that does an automatic parry, which is wild. But there's so many jobs in this game. It's insane. Like, in the first 3 hours, in the first mission, they dumped the 3 main jobs at you, like the great sword wielder, pugilist, and the one that
dual daggers, the
dual daggers,
whatever it's called,
but then they start throwing hella shit at you of like, all right, cool, we gave you the spear, now you can wield spears. All right, cool, now you got this sick wand, and it's kind of awkward to cast spells, but you got it now, buddy. And I think the job system's cool because you kind of had to go all in on 2 separate jobs to unlock an advanced job. Like, I think if you want to unlock the Dragoon class, you have to get pretty deep into the spear wielding class and the Marauder class. And I've really fallen in love with the Marauder class because that class just uses like a big axe, and in the middle of every single attack, you can charge up and just like sit there and take the attacks, and then against the dude, and it's great. It's fantastic. And then that whole gimmick or mechanic is thrown out the window once you evolve into the Dragoon class, because not only are you like charging up attacks, but now you're like, fuck this, I'm gonna just jump really high in the air, disappear from the screen, and then go on the enemies. It's great.
Holy shit.
Like the classes, they feel pretty different from each other. I mean the jobs feel different from each other, and
please jobs.
There's a surprising amount of actual like precise button placement and in between your combos, because instead of a heavy attack, you have that skilled attack, which is on R2 or one of the trigger buttons, and that function you can set differently in between your combo. So if you just hit it right off the bat, it'll be one attack. If you hit it mid combo, it'll be a different attack. Or if you're holding it down mid attack, it'll be completely different. So you can get pretty wild with your combos and everything.
Cool.
And you can do a frame cancel, and the game specifically tells you, it's like, hey, you want to practice doing this. So you hit square mid combo, you can switch to your other job and then keep going with that. And it's
nice.
Like the combos I've seen online are like borderline FF7 remake Tifa levels of insanity, because you're just going and depleting a whole life bar. And I think we mentioned it last week when we were talking about the demo, but when you break someone's stance, which is a yellow bar underneath their health bar, you can do the equivalent of a glory kill. And at first, like, they were kind of getting repetitive, but then I just love turning someone into a blood crystal and then shattering it. And it is so satisfying, because if you're if you get dumped into a room full of enemies, you're just like bashing away at someone, hit circle, and then like the area of effect that pops up from like breaking someone will break someone else's stance, that you just dashing around the room, turning people into crystals, and just like, I feel like Jack is just huffing the blood crystal dust and getting high off of it, and it's making me want more of it.
It feels like really satisfyingly violent without it being literally just like a Mortal Kombat gory ass thing, like, because it's got this crystal situation going on. But sometimes it's like, Jesus, Jack.
Calm the fuck down.
Calm down.
That's just the way he is.
That guy had a family, probably.
I like it when
and suplexing him.
Yeah, I like it when games do have that kind of like stance change or style change or whatever, and let you do it mid combo.
Yeah,
like that's always fun when it works. I feel like I'm trying to think what was the last. I mean, Devil May Cry has done that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like there were the last couple of games I played where like I was like, oh, it had a stance change, but like you couldn't combo into and out of it, and I remember being really frustrated. But I can't remember what game it was now. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's a bunch of pretty standard concepts thrown together and maybe overcomplicated in some ways, but I don't know. It's
like the level design is super linear, and when you revisit a level for a side mission, you are just generally walking the other way. Like it is that simple in terms of reusing assets. Like now we gotta go kill the Goblin Queen. Where is she? Oh, she's where we started in this map the first time we went through.
It sounds like it would, and I haven't played super deep into it, but it sounds like this game is actually super shitty in a lot of ways, but the characters and the looks and all that sort of stuff really helps tie it together in a way that gives it more life than maybe it even deserves.
Yeah, because like the loot in this game is also insane because of the frequency that it is dropping off of characters. There was a point where I reached a boss and me and my gang of hooligans were all dressed exactly the same with the same stupid weird face mask and like devil looking horns. And I'm trying to take this cutscene seriously, but everyone is just talking about chaos. And that's not a joke that they're talking about chaos, because they're constantly talking about chaos.
And whether or not it's real, like Santa Claus.
But that's the thing that I feel like everyone is confused about. That might be in like the direction of the game or like the script, because chaos in the same cutscene will be talked as like it is a person, a place, or a concept of chaos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like, I have to end chaos. I'm like, okay, are we talking about the dude at the beginning or like just general chaos?
That dude at the beginning's not chaos. That's
I know.
What the fuck's his name? Garland.
Yeah. I don't know if they like, do they rename him Chaos?
Is Garland Chaos? Maybe we'll find out another 20 hours. I don't know.
Did you unlock or find the fedora yet?
No, I've seen it, and I feel like I need it to just complete the look
of everybody's look in your party.
I don't know if like so apparently, and I asked my partner this because he had this fedora and he was just like changing it to different characters.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do you have like a group shared fedora? Like a fedora
Sisterhood of the Traveling Fedora.
Yeah. It's like I have no idea if like you eventually can get more than one fedora, or if you're just going to have a mutually shared
We've got to get out here
fedora
and grind for fedoras. Another 100 hours.
Like every other cutscene, it's on a different person.
I fucking dodge 300 lightning strikes. I get a bonus fedora. I don't know. It's nice to just see it's refreshing in some weird way to see Final Fantasy's fucking weird bullshit applied to a different style of game. And I don't know, like they've certainly tried action games and all this other stuff in the past, and I feel like none of those have ever clicked in ways that felt like they mattered, other than to people who were already invested in it. But something about this, I think it is just how fucking dumb it is. Just how fucking dumb the dialogue is and stuff is really enticing.
And like the thing that I hate is that I'm just compelled to keep playing it because it also is feeding into the whole loot desire of like, well, I gotta get like the best stuff for my dudes, and there's so much stuff constantly popping off that I just had to set the game to like, all right, just put on whatever's the best. Just put on whatever's the best. Because
I appreciate that it has that in there of just like, give me the best fedora.
Like I will finish a side mission just to grind, that I popped into grind for levels, and then I'll just come out of it with like 20 different boots. Like no joke, 20 different boots.
Oh God.
And like weapons I don't need anymore.
The system with which to deal with those absolutely sucks too, doesn't it?
It is also terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you break it down for like materials, and it's not quite clear in the beginning, at least, of like, I should be doing this, right? Okay, cool. I'll get rid of these level 1 swords and maces for this level 21. I hate it. There's also so many fist bumps in this game. And I love that aspect of it. Just
and
constant.
egg touches.
They love touching eggs.
Touch them
Yeah,
eggs.
it is very much fucking dudes rock the game. I mean,
can you
Dudes
be
love eggs.
more descriptive with the egg bumping?
They
Touching
call them
eggs.
crystals, and like they say whenever they get next to like a homie or like a new friend is like, my crystal is vibrating. It's reacting to yours.
Do they show them like bumping eggs, or are they just like
They'll pull them out of a
pull them
non-existent
out,
pocket, and then it just looks like a black egg.
like Cheers,
No.
Cheers kind of thing? No.
They'll feel it, look at each other, and then they'll put it away, and then they'll fist bump. Like no lie,
What the
this
fuck is
happens
this game?
several
And also,
times.
like, I think like when
Amazing.
you beat bosses, people are like, Jack, your egg, or other
crystal.
character's name, your crystal, your egg, and they have to hold it aloft and like it like sucks up some energy. I don't know what's going on. I'm not like paying too much attention, but I feel like even if I was, I'd probably say the exact same thing I just said.
The best part though, and we cover this in the demo on UPF, but there is a portion of the menu where you just talk to townsfolk. And in my 6 or so hours of the game, none of that has had any effect on the story. And it is the same rotating cast of like 5-6 people.
and there's a
Also-
slight load before it.
Yep.
That's just like, I mean, it's you look at it, you're like, well, at least the new consoles, and I'm on an SSD on PC, and the load into that thing is quite fast. But boy, it's stupid.
Also,
Boy,
I
it's
remember
stupid.
when we were checking this out, like real quick, and it was the demo. There was a scene where it was just like they met, they have the eggs, their eggs are in concordance with each other or whatever, and then it like flashes forward and they're on a boat, and then it flashes forward again, they're somewhere else, and we're like, oh, it's probably because of
No.
the demo. There's a whole thing that happens between
No.
here. No, it's just like that in the game. They just flash forward. There's also a part where like the king was like, you have to go to the 4 sacred areas and defeat these 4 big mean guys, and they're like, okay, be right back. Fade to black. Fade up
Months
from
later.
black. We did it, or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm so sick of monster hunting, which is a sick burn if you think about it.
Ooh,
whoa.
Also, I
Something
think they
like
just
that
walk
not
everywhere.
appreciated.
I think they just
I
walk
wonder,
everywhere.
do you think, I wonder if this game had, if they originally, when they were designing it, they're like, well, you need to be able to walk around a town and talk to townsfolk, because everything you get from that menu when you're talking to people is just straight up dumb fucking RPG dialogue, like walking around the town, walking up, just going, I'm baking the bread, just like whatever fucking dumb, meaningless shit. Like they felt the need, like, well, if this is going to be Final Fantasy 1 times, it needs to have fucking completely pointless interactions. And like, I wonder if they originally had you walking around towns
Maybe.
to have those interactions, and at some point they were like, no, cut all this, we don't have time.
It's hilarious. 'Cause
Or if they like set out to go like, no, we're gonna have a menu and then a list. Like if that was the original goal, it's even fucking crazier.
yeah.
I
I gotta check in with a grizzled war veteran.
And then also the new recruit who looks identical because they're both wearing the fucking same armor but has a slightly different voice.
One of the best dialogue options from talking to those townspeople is an option where it's just 2 NPCs talking to each other, and they're just talking about Jack and company. They're like, well, I hope Jack and blah 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 can fix this issue that we have. And it's like, is Jack like witnessing and just standing there while these people are talking about him? It's just like a unique look into the townspeople's lives.
Yeah.
I really wonder if this is if this plays differently at all, like listening to it in Japanese,
Right.
and if this is like, oh yeah, this is a compelling story. This all makes sense.
It seems like a deeply flawed video game, and I think when you look at it on paper, it is very hard to find anything truly compelling about it, but it has a heart and a soul to it that fucking a lot of games miss. And I think that kind of throwback feel to it, and just how
it's like a bit of a B
awkward.
movie.
yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And not necessarily in a bad way. Like,
No,
it's just that's what it is. And
The kind that you show to friends because you're having a good time,
yeah, I've had a good time with it so far. The only thing is it like there was a moment there where I was like, I should just drop it down to like story difficulty or whatever, so I don't have to keep remembering which block is which.
Because actually,
I have not done that.
some
But
of the boss encounters can get surprisingly tough. Like it's
Is
weird.
it fun? Are those tough? Is the challenge good? Like, are the actual gameplay? You're like, hey, I'm satisfied with this encounter, or is it like a hassle?
A little bit of both. Unfortunately, like there's moments where it's like, oh, this feels great. Like I'm actually comboing and blocking. Some attacks you can't block. You just got to dodge out of the way. But I feel like this game would benefit from like an actual heavy attack on top of like your skilled attack, because it gets kind of boring and monotonous when you're just mashing away at the attack button, waiting for your MP to recharge so you can use a different attack button. And then your AI teammates are kind of dumb. Like I feel like they've never really benefited me in combat so far. And you can change their jobs too, which is funny.
Well, I mean, they look like idiots. I don't know. That one dude kind of reminds me of Wardlow.
Oh yeah, he's good. I love Ash. Wait, Ash. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and Jed. Jed or Jeb?
Jed. You quickly get a fourth member of your crew that you would assume would be the voice of reason. No. She's good. Also very aloof.
Also a female himbo.
Yes.
Terrific. Fantastic.
Got to complete the
Fantastic.
Forfecta?
Forfecta.
Yeah.
I mean, they said there'd be 4 heroes. That's the prophecy. What are you going to do?
They recite the same prophecy at each other. Like everyone knows this. Like it's common.
It's a feeling. Yeah. Great. I want to play more of this flawed game.
A female himbo would be a bimbo. I'm sorry. You're right, Chad.
No, let's stick with female himbo. I think there's something way more specific about that.
Yeah,
it's a different energy. Yeah. It's a different energy.
Yeah, there is a different energy to that.
It's like, it goes back around twice a little bit. Yeah.
We're sticking with that. Bring that out of this chat room and into the world. Seed the world with female himbo energy.
That's me.
Weird West.
Hell yeah.
There's a video of that up on the site. Jeff Bacalar, you've been singing the praises of Weird West for some time now.
Yeah. I'm loving every bit and piece of that thing. It's it changed a little bit from the demo that was maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, but not in any real meaningful way. More sort of like I think graphically little presentation wise, a couple things changed,
but a little closer to a finished game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is super fun. It has a really interesting pedigree behind it. Some of the developers from Prey and Dishonored up in the business of Weird West, and it is a isometric action RPG that has you on these separate sort of stories that they call journeys, and you assume the role of these different characters, and it's all making your way through like super weird, like paranormal Western shit, and has a really kind of unique control system behind it where you are using the right trigger to sort of aim weapons. You have a lot of bullet timey powers. There's an incredible amount of depth when it comes to picking, skills and customizing the experience to, the way you play the game or want to play the game. Tons of looting, really interesting, set pieces and environments. And I really can't say enough good stuff about this thing. I think the only thing that jammed me up a little bit, and I think Jason, you definitely saw some of that in our video, was you just get to the point, I mean, not even an hour in, where you've got like 43 guns and you're just sort of like walking around the Weird West,
all these,
holding
and you've got inventory limit as well. So it's like, you can't pick this up because you've got all these junk weapons. And there's no way to like mass, salvage them or take them all apart. You got to do it one by one. That's kind of a bummer.
And so how RPG is it on the character front? Are you picking a class? Are you building anything there? Or are you a named specific person?
So you're not picking a class, but you do have agency over a dozen or so, sort of tiers that you can level into and buy into as you find these items that unlock that sort of upgrade ability. So you're sort of choosing your path that way, and kind of fine tuning it in the menus and whatnot. But you have these little items that you bind to the D-pad that increase your sort of like magic stuff, your health. You got to cook a lot of food to get HP back, which is more of just chore-y, I guess, but it's definitely an element. But like there's fun stuff. Like every character you come across is a total like spooky Western
weirdo
ghost, and some people turn into zombies, and some people are just like
cannibals.
Yeah. They're just like we're over here eating people. If you it's weird.
Yeah.
I know, Weird West. I hate to be
on some
cliched
vittles?
about it, but like, could not be a better title for this fucking game, because that is all it actually is. And I love the look of it too. You have control over this sort of 3-tiered zoomed camera, and you can swap that out on the fly and really get up in your business, or have a much more bird's eye view of an area that you're getting through. It makes for some really wild encounters where we played this one part where you're sort of raiding this stronghold, and tons of different ways to go about it. Just giving you tons of like fun, explodable projectile options and different types of guns, and it's just
grenades. You can throw dynamite. Yeah,
lots of blowy up stuff. It's cool, and just seems like
what era this takes place in. Is this like the Old West,
the Weird West?
I
guess it's
totally.
I guess I don't
alternate
know.
timeline.
It seems like 1900, 1910.
Wild West, or
is there a giant spider robot, or
not yet?
I mean, not yet. I'm expecting anything, right? Like I've sort of feel like it's like 1915 meets some sort of alternate, retro history weirdo thing. So it's pretty much like that kind of vibe. You get a horse, and you sort of have to travel through these points on your overworld map, and sometimes on your way over you'll find some sort of, you'll be interrupted by like a gang or some sort of obstacle that interferes in your way to your checkpoint, your waypoint. It just seems really smart, definitely a breath of fresh air.
Well designed.
Like really, really working for me personally. Really, really digging it. Going to spend a lot of time with this one for sure.
Nice. It sounds like it's bringing some of the design style of
principles,
Dishonored, and like some of that other stuff to this kind of very different.
Yeah, you can go in guns a-blazing, or like sneak through a fence to get to where you need to go. Yeah,
yeah, definitely like choose your sort of attack path there. Cool. And it's the studio's Wolfeye. And I mean, it's really cool, and the different journeys that you do are different characters. I think there's one with like a pig man. You play as like a pig person.
Sure.
Okay. They love gold.
So I'm looking forward to that too. Of course,
I play every game as a pig person.
Yeah, whether or not it wants me to. So really cool stuff.
And even role playing to me.
Yeah.
Can you equip different hats? Like, what's the fedora game in this?
No, I think there might be outfit stuff, but I don't know if that's cosmetic. I think I got to go back and we didn't get to a point where you're equipping that sort of stuff. But there's a lot where you are deciding what you are wearing based on armor and these other sort of buffs that you have access to. So it's layered, and I mean, it's a little overwhelming at the start, but I feel like there's enough of a balance where the more you progress, the more you realize like, oh, I do need to unlock this sort of thing, or pay attention to this element of my loadout so that it helps me in my adventures and whatnot. But yeah, I'm super into it. I loved it before, and I'm glad the final version delivers.
Nice. Well, that video is up on the site right now. You want to see some Weird West? Go check it out. We mentioned, we talked a bit about Ghostwire Tokyo last week. There's probably not much more to say here other than we got our hands on the PC version, and I played some of that. You talked about how sluggish the control was on console or on a controller, and I concur. On a controller, that game feels like freaking mud. But mouse and keyboard, it almost feels like you are cheating in a sense, because you can whip around so much faster and just move so much better. And so there's that. I don't think that makes that a great game all of a sudden, but it at least knocks out that specific issue with it. Anyone sticking with it? Anyone playing?
I played a little more.
Yeah.
I played a little more. It's a lot of the same stuff. I'm dispersing fog. I'm so uninterested in this story. I just want to keep seeing cool shit. I like the scary horror adjacent stuff, so I'm kind of just in it for that to
hardly scary though. I gotta say.
tickle my my horror bones, horror itches.
Tell me more about your horror bone.
Oh, I got all.
Actually,
200...
I take that back. I don't want to hear more about.
I'll stop talking about those bones.
I guess the other thing I'll say about the PC version is when you turn it all the way up, it looks pretty nice. You know,
this game looks
ray
great.
tracing and like all the puddles look really good, and the fidelity on all the signage and all that stuff. Like the environments are really top notch. I thought that the main character looked pretty crummy.
It's a wet game. Everything's wet.
Oh yeah, very damp. I like that.
That's how you make everything look nice and shiny.
Yeah,
you know, like graphics wise. Like if you put a little post rain dampness, everything's all like shiny.
That's why they hose down movie sets all the time.
Yeah,
that's true.
Your
what were you gonna say, Jen?
Ever look like they're getting hurt? Because I know you're doing a lot of combat by like pointing at dudes, right? But like, you ever get like a cut or something, or like, oh no,
you're asking if the beams of fire and wind force and water that are coming out of your fingertips, you're asking if those little boys get like calloused and whatnot.
Yeah,
like no, I can't confirm that.
Okay.
All right.
I was shocked to learn that this game is actually like 25 hours.
No, I don't want to do that. No.
I was at least that's what I heard from I think Michael Hyam or something. But yeah, like 15 to 25 hours or something like that, 20 hours or something. But I was shocked because the game, just the first 6 hours that I played, felt like they were stretching it so thin already. I was like, this must be 20 hours of content stretched so thin to make it to be 60 or 50 hours or something. And finding out that it was like less than 30 was like shocking. I was like, really? How is there less than? That's really weird. It already felt so poorly paced.
I definitely agree. I think the earlier parts that we were talking about just like seem to just drag in a very unfun way.
And like that's probably when the game is probably like most games are probably paced best at the start so that you're invested in it, right? And it's
depends.
Like if this is as spicy as this pace gets, like this does not bode for the rest of the game. It must be even more of a stretched out slog, right? But yeah, only 20-ish hours. Crazy.
I was gonna say some of these first party Nintendo games are 2 hours tutorial lately, so I don't know.
True.
Like,
oh god.
Not always, but
I'm still so like not really on the fence with this one. It's just not sat well with me. The whole, my personal emotional investment where I was just like, this is all my shit. Fuck yeah. And then liking some parts of it and being like, oh, that's neat. And then some of it just not really landing. And
I think part of the emotional attachment problem, for me at least, with Ghostwire Tokyo is that it doesn't really establish any normality before it takes it away. And like, I don't know this guy's relationship with his sister. Why do I care about this? There isn't like a setup saying like how much he gives a shit about his sister. There's a couple little like backstory flashbacks along the way, but they're very short. They're like 20 seconds long, and it's just kind of basic sort of sibling stuff. I don't know why she's in the hospital to begin with. So it's just kind of, you just start and it just is. And I'm just like along for the ride being like, can anyone let me in on like the emotional stakes here? Like I'm not feeling it, So I think they just kind of, it feels like they started the game like an hour into like what I would have preferred the plot to have been more like, where it could establish some stuff beforehand before going all wacky, foggy land stuff. But I don't know.
And some games pull that off fine. Where
some games do.
Some games do mystery well, but that just sounds like they're just not giving you enough to work with out of the gate. And
and a lot of like horror style stuff kind of has to establish a little bit of normality before they throw you into the deep end and you realize something's wrong, right? Like from movies to games or whatever, there's always a little bit at the start where it's just like, here's how things usually
getting
are.
off a bus, and then boom, something.
Yeah, something crazy happens
Me and
after
my
you
friends
establish normality.
rented an electric car, and we just want to jump off this hill,
That's all.
Yeah.
And then the fog came, and well, now the cops are after us. But they're ghost cops. Tunic is amazing.
Oh my god!
Cannot believe. I feel like every time I sit down to play Tunic at night, which has been the past few nights here, and knock out another hour and a half of it or so, I am seeing shit in that game that I'm just like, I can't believe that. And it is the same surprise over and over again, I think, in a lot of ways, but it gets me every time because that surprise is, yo, did you know you could have been doing this all along?
100%. Yes.
And I was just like, I can't fucking believe I could have been doing that all along.
Whoa.
Like, you will finish a portion of the map or a dungeon, and then you will end there and walk through a corridor, and then boom, you are right close
Surprise!
to where you
Yeah.
were starting in the beginning of the game. And then there's nothing to stop you from going there in the beginning of the game if you manage to stumble upon that. And so much of that is not communicated at all, and I love that. Like, I was telling Bacalar in the quick look we did that for a hot second I thought my language settings were wrong because everything was still in like the runish speech text that it is. That I was like, oh no, what if I did this wrong? That no, I had the language settings right. This game is just not going to tell me shit.
My son had played it before I did, and he's like, "Daddy, what does this mean?" And I'm like, "How'd you mess up the language options?" I'm just scrolling through, like, "No, it says English. I've no. Oh, it's made up. I got it."
Yeah. It's it is a deeper and more involved combat experience than I think people may have been expecting. I mean, the demo I think kind of definitely hinted at some of that, so maybe that was some more of that was out there, but I think it does that sense of mystery and wonder so well. I'm past the garden night and off doing. I'm not even 100% sure what I'm off making big blocks sink, and I don't know why, but I can do that now, or I guess I could have always done that. I found a fucking fast travel system, and or I found a manual page that says, hey, what if you went and looked at this? And then I went and looked at that, and I was like, oh god, that's a oh shit, there's a fast travel system in this game. Holy shit. And I'm fighting giant crabs and tiny crabs and all sorts of other stuff right now. And
the manual is amazing because at first I thought it was
it's a huge part of the game.
It is like incredibly integral to the experience of playing this game.
Go ahead, Jen.
I was going to say that
describe the manual system because not everyone has seen it, but it's basically anytime you hit the select button, it brings up pages of a manual, and you are finding these pages around the world. And every time you find them, it's like, here's 2 more pages of manual. Sometimes they're completely out of context. They are also largely written in this kind of runish language, which may or may not be nonsense. And so you're left to kind of look at it and go like, okay, I can equip a thing here, or like you're suddenly like, oh right, that's what I can do with the well. What does it do? I don't know, but I can do that with the well, and then maybe I'll find another page, or I'll deduce what this does later. And so you are fed such weird bits and pieces of information along the way, and not being told the complete story, not only about like kind of what you're doing and why, but also just the mechanics of the game are kind of revealed to you through the course of finding things in the manual. And so there's going to be crazy speed runs for this, I'm sure.
Oh my god.
But
I really enjoy the not only the nostalgia kind of the manual system, but the puzzle element that they're bringing to the game via that manual is super duper interesting. I don't think I've seen anything quite like it before, and it makes me go, why hasn't there been more games that do exactly like this sort of thing? I miss game manuals. I miss having little tidbits and little nudge hints to start me off with And like having the manual be in a different language makes it feel like you stumbled upon this obscure Japanese game that you don't understand, where there's a couple of words in English only, and you're like, oh, that's the name of an enemy, and then there's a description, and it's like, oh, I can't read the description, I don't know how to fight it or something like that.
Yeah, or like I know I can equip these cards, and okay, I'm pretty sure this one gives me a 15% chance for hearts to drop when an enemy dies because there's a 15% here next to this gibberish, and that's what happens when I equip it. But I don't. Can I level up these cards? There seems to be a page that indicates that maybe that's what I'm doing, or I get new cards. So it's like you have to deduce a lot of that stuff and puzzle it out as you are playing this game that is very much a stamina meter management kind of block and attack, like pick your targets, don't overextend yourself, like the light take on a Souls game stuff in the combat, which is an interesting choice. I think that more than anything will probably be divisive for some people.
Yeah.
And they do have options in there for basically turning off stamina as a, you can turn off the stamina meter and not have the issues that come when you run out of stamina. You also enable a no fail mode, which I haven't toggled any of those. I was basically like one more try on the Garden Knight away from going like, fuck it, I just want to get past this fight, and then I won that time. I'm like, all right, fine. God, shit.
Full transparency. I've been in the game, but I did have to turn on no fail mode for some of the bosses because I got to a point where it's like my hands won't move fast enough, and my little fox guy can't move fast enough to dodge out of all of these attacks and manage to block and everything. Just, you mentioned like there's like markings in the manual and everything, but also this is one of the first games in a while where I've had to take like actual physical notes to remember some stuff.
Ooh, baby.
And then
that's
like
definitely
all of this
like,
crap, like these arrows and shit.
There's definitely a concern that I have that like I feel like I have to go finish this game as soon as possible because all that stuff is hidden in plain sight. You don't always remember. It's all, so for people who haven't seen it, it's all like playing on perspective. It's an isometric perspective game, and basically there's just a lot of spots where you can walk behind the scenery and there's a whole separate path there. Or like, hey, over in the corner, you see a little piece of wood hanging off a ledge. You're like, oh, that's a fucking ladder. I can climb down, and there's a whole alternate path here. Or, hey, here's the shortcut to the boss. I throw a rope down. You can't even see the rope because it's obscured by a pillar that's in front of it. And sometimes that stuff is maddening, but also when you find it, it's crazy because you're like, oh man. So now I'm playing that game where I'm just like, I'm walking into every wall, I'm walking around everything, and I found so much crazy shit. It almost feels like the game was designed in a way that like they know the point when you're going to start doing that and start putting more almost critical path stuff in those sorts of things. Like it's like, okay, you should have learned this by now, and now you're going to be finding all this shit, and it's crazy.
I'm so happy that we're back to treating waterfalls like where secrets go.
This is exactly.
Secrets go behind fucking waterfalls.
That's what you do.
Thank you. Return to tradition. Because it's just like, for fuck's sake, I feel like I haven't been behind a waterfall in 10 goddamn years. What happened? Why did they fall out of vogue?
There was that waterfall in the underground area in Elden Ring, and I was like, ooh, a waterfall. I've got to get over there. And I get over there, and 10 guys pop up and start attacking me from the water around it. And I'm like, and then I'm like, well, I got to see what's behind that waterfall. There was nothing behind that goddamn. There was nothing behind that goddamn.
There was a wall behind the water. Every damn waterfall in this game, I've yet to find a waterfall that doesn't have something behind it. And thank you, developers. Thank you. That's the way it should be. All waterfalls lead to treasure. But yeah, I'm only like an hour and a half, 2 hours into this game, and like every single, like there's so many astounding secrets. I found a little secret where I could change how my character looks. It's like a character customization area.
It's crazy. There's this little staircase that you see for a moment when you walk into the area, and you're like, wait, what the fuck?
Is that a staircase? Yeah, and you go down, and like there's 4 different places to change 4 different aspects of your character. Either your fur, your little nose
you can change the color of your tunic in Tunic.
And your tunic, and your little scarf.
I have beaten the game and completed this whole damn manual.
But you didn't know.
I didn't know.
In the first 2 hours of the game, you can change your little guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a coin in there too.
My guy's red right now. He's got a little white nose, and I love him.
I'm gonna try and be as vague as possible, but this is a late end game thing.
Yeah, be vague. Be vague.
One of the pages that helps. I don't know if this is an intentional hint, and I think that speaks to how cool the manual is. But at one of the very last puzzles that you have to utilize the manual, I believe the image on the manual was also a hint, because I was up till like 2 or 3 after I exhaustively made my notes with the proper button inputs, and I could not open or solve the puzzle. I look at this image again for another time, and then I was like, why is and then that wound up being the key to solving the puzzle. So everything is hidden in plain sight. It is amazing.
Yeah,
that's
the ultimate testament to this game is just how seemingly like devilishly hidden everything is too, right? Like in a way that you're just like, who is this guy?
It's like intricate in a way that like everything, like it must have been insane to put all this stuff together.
Yes.
And keep track of all of it.
And isn't it one person?
And Andrew Schuldice, known as Dicey.
What? It's like 1 or 2 people,
How?
There's a small team for sure.
How? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It also it's also another game that speaks to something that I want to happen more in games, which is trusting the damn player.
Yeah.
Like this is a good year so far for trusting the damn player and psychologically leading them around in very, very sneaky ways for them to find things and find their own little pockets of enjoyment and secrets. And if they miss a secret, oh well, they missed it. Like, don't drag their ass into this secret area. Don't say, hey, you missed an important thing back there. You know, just let me miss it. Trust me. Maybe I'll find it later.
I saw that Mary Kish went against the first boss only using a stick because she didn't find the sword.
She didn't find the sword.
Oh, did that work out poorly?
No, she beat it with just using the stick.
Jeez.
Which, like, to think about how little damage you were doing with that.
Raw.
Yeah, it's insane.
I ran past one of the mini bosses and just like scooted to the treasure room and just got the treasure behind him and never fought him. And I have to go back and fight him because I think he might have something.
So the fucked up thing is, like, with the pathfinding and some of these enemies, like, generally in a Souls game now, I'll just run past stuff if I'm having trouble. These dudes, if you have not changed the actual screen you're in, will hunt you down. And it's terrifying. Like, I got swarmed by all these, like, goblin-looking dudes, vague alligator-looking things, and these...
spiders.
Yeah, great.
Ooh.
This is a very good game.
Yeah,
and I'm
in the frog zone right now.
Oh shit! I've read about that in my manual.
And I'm convinced there's probably items you will miss, but the whole time after like finishing the game, I was thinking up until rolling credits on the proper ending. That there would be a hidden attack or a hidden like weapon that I couldn't find until much later in the game. Like, I was convinced, like, all right, if I just hold down the attack button, I bet you will spin around in a circle. That never happened. But who knows?
No,
I
keep wanting that.
So there is a weapon. Do you know how to do? Because I did it once, and I got the achievement for like the weird leap forward launch attack thing.
Yes, I think it says that in the menu.
Yeah, it references it in the manual there, but I don't know that it says how to do it. Maybe it does. I'll go back and look because I busted it out once and I was like, holy shit, and then have not accidentally done it again. So, but I assume it's something like you are jumping out of a roll or something like that. But
I think it might have to do with like the iframes. Is that the manual page that talks about how you have an invincibility dust thing? So it might be a timing based roll based thing.
Okay.
Real good.
It's really good. I think it's on Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Even wilder, it's on Game Pass.
No brainer if you have Game Pass. Check it out.
Get your ass up in this game. It's really cool.
It's crazy. It's so cool. It's so cool.
For folks curious, my end game save was like 12, 13 hours. And that's with like wandering around a bit to a fair amount.
And yet not finding how to change your character's colors.
No.
I would also say, like, try not to, I don't know. For Elden Ring, I watched a lot of video. For this, I almost think like there's enough that you can discover yourself too. I mean, you play the game you want to play the way you want to play it. I just feel like some of the discoveries have just been so personally satisfying in such a really profound kind of way, and because the surprises are so integral to how you do this game and how you play it. But again, you do you. But that I found that to be personally pretty satisfying.
Yeah, I know when Fez came along, there was definitely parts of that game that were rewarding to play alone, and then parts of it that were very rewarding to play, like talking to other people about it and stuff. The Witness, kind of same deal. Yeah,
but this, I think you should zero in and do it.
Check it out.
This is less flummoxing than both of those games.
Yes. Also, yes, definitely.
Mad cute game.
Yeah,
I don't think we talked about how it looks too.
And there is a fifth thing you can customize in that room, by the way.
I gotta look out. I gotta go back to it now.
Genital size.
Yep. Elden Ring. Anyone have anything more to say about Elden Ring? I just am more just checking in. I have pretty much stopped playing it in favor of all this other stuff. But anyone else still?
I'm playing. I'm still going. Still trying to level up. Still trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, same.
I didn't get to play it over the weekend, and it felt like my weekend was a hollow husk of a weekend because I didn't get to touch it.
You were
absolutely maidenless weekend.
Oh, a maidenless weekend. It was awful.
How many hours do you have in now, Jess? Just curious.
I want to say, I think I'm at 56 because I think I'm at level 56, and I've been kind of like one hour per level, very consistently been around that area. I beat the Raya Lucaria bosses and such. So that was neat. I think that was the last major thing I did was beat Ronnie's mom, and I'm doing Ronnie quest stuff too. There's some threads I'm following up on right now. I'm glad they put those NPC markers on the map because there's some people.
Well, yeah, that's pretty helpful.
They just fuck off somewhere. I don't know where they are. So then you have to just run into them later, and it's like, oh, I need to continue this thing with you. Where did you go, idiot? Stay in the same spot so I can report back to you.
Nice. I accidentally hit an NPC, and then they're very mad at me. And then it wound up being fine because I killed them and I took their 6 sword.
Is it fine?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I don't know.
Encouraged sometimes.
Yeah, their quest line is probably gone now, but
I had an NPC attack me in a place I thought I was safe at. I'm not going to say where it was or who it was, but this NPC attacked me. I was not ready for it. I was screaming. I was not prepared because I was like, time to chill out in this area that no one has ever attacked me in before. Whoops, what the fuck? And I had to kill him, and now they're gone. And I was like, what was with that person? What'd I do to you? Why'd you attack
me? You started some shit with them.
Yeah, shit happens, But the killing of NPCs or not killing of NPCs has definitely been a part of From's previous games. So yeah, I hadn't considered it, but yes, I guess of course that makes sense that stuff would be in there in some capacity.
I didn't get to play it all this weekend, but I got to watch someone play. I was at a lake house with some friends and stuff, and he's pretty far into the game. But I asked him, how long do you think, you're going to be playing this? And he's like, I think I'm really close to wrapping this up. I'm like, how many hours are you in? He said 35. I'm like, dude, I don't know.
You might have I don't know. If they were the best 35 hours of your video gaming life, then you're probably right there. But
yeah, he didn't. No, he's not the speed running type. That's for sure. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but for some people, 30 minutes. What do you do?
Sure.
Yeah. I've seen
shit's wild.
I've seen so many friends that this is not normally their type of game. Pick this up just out of sheer curiosity because it's like blowing up on the internet, and then I'll get random texts of like, "How do I play this game?"
And okay, jump in the hole at the beginning.
Yeah,
and it'll tell you. and then I'm not going to tell you anything else.
Yeah, generally it's just tips of like, hey, read the messages and trust them, but also don't trust them.
Learn how to backstab and learn how to do that shield, like not the parry. But that like shield attacky thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
shield
sure.
dash stab thing. That has like once I finally like got it through my thick skull how to do that consistently, it's like, oh okay, I'm getting good. I'm doing it. I'm getting good. Yay. But yeah, I'm jonesing for more Elden Ring, and I have no time to play
same.
it right now. I gotta edit some very
Yeah, I
online
mean,
show and play Tunic.
Got to get out there, find that wall, and just keep attacking it.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I saw that and I was so upset because then
Did they
like,
patch that or something? Like, because that seems like that seems like a mistake. Why did that wall have HP?
It may have been a glitch too. I've heard people say, yeah.
It's like a wall with poise.
I accidentally found a sick ass katana, and now I'm shooting, I think, lasers. Pretty
Fucking cool.
and it's like 20 feet long. I don't know how structural.
Works in
integrity.
Final Fantasy, you know? What are you going to do?
I got a spell that makes me have a giant bow. That's the most recent.
Is it like a
like,
real bow
spell
or
I've
like a
unlocked.
spirit bow?
It's like a magic glintstone bow, and it's just freaking huge, gigantic bow. But it takes a while to charge up, so that's the downside of it. But it's pretty badass.
Nice. I got some hardware. And let's see if this works. It's the ultimate test here. It's a live demo, folks.
What's happening?
I'm trying to turn this light on from my phone.
Ooh.
Right.
Oh.
It is not turning on. Unable to find your device. It has dropped off my Wi-Fi network. There we go.
Oh.
Hey.
Hey.
So Razer's got some stuff out. They sent some of this stuff over. It's a key light, much like the Elgato key light, but it does colors. So if you want, red or purple or any other color that you can punch in the hex key for, it'll do that. And it is $100 more than Elgato's key light, which I don't.
Why?
Well, there's RGB.
Well, it
I
does all the color stuff, right?
Oh.
So,
Can we see some? Can we see some colors?
let me try and let me see how well
let's get funky in here.
I mean, this room is already kind of lit, so I don't know how well it'll go, but we'll
Give us some like evil reds or something.
The biggest knock I'll say about this thing is that as a Razer device, you have to install Razer Synapse.
Okay.
Which is, not
Ooh.
great.
Hey.
But then the other part, so that's
looking
You look
toasty.
hot. You look very hot.
In the oven.
So this looks totally you want to know what color blindness is like. This doesn't look like there's a light on me at all. Like in the camera shot that I look at. This just looks like normal me to me.
Okay.
It's pinker
Wow.
than usual, but it's not like drastic, but
Okay.
definitely a
Like that episode
green.
of Seinfeld, yeah.
Ooh. Very blue. Are you cold, Jeff?
Violet. You're turning violet.
Yeah, well, So yeah, I don't know. The other thing is the Elgato light that I have over on this side will work from a wired desktop connection. This one seems to very specifically be like, no, you need to be on the same Wi-Fi network for this to work. So I could not control it from my PC at all. I can only control it from the phone, which seems insane as like hey, this is a thing for your streaming setup. I feel like most people with streaming setups are not on fucking Wi-Fi.
It just seems like the wrong, maybe I'd like more options, right? Like give me all the options.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I don't know. It seems like it is technically a better light than the Elgato light in terms of just light it gives off, and also obviously the color stuff is fun. But between the price bump and then that weird restriction, it seems kind of weak. We've been talking a lot about audio interfaces here. They also sent over this audio mixer.
I'm interested in this.
So this is basically a Go XLR Mini. In terms of performance and features and stuff like that, except you use Razer Synapse instead of the Go XLR software, which So I don't, Jeff Bakalar, you're a keyboard man. You've probably gotten yourself to a place where you're never going to have to install Razer Synapse again. I have had games that would not run until I uninstalled Razer Synapse, which is a weird, I was like, man, I can't believe this game that just came out doesn't run at all. And then people on Twitter going like, oh, do you have fucking Synapse installed? And I'm like, yeah, like get that thing off your PC. And as soon as I did, the game worked fine. I've had that happen multiple times. And so it's kind of a big problem with this whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. Like this, the sliders are not motorized like they are on a full Go XLR, but on the Mini they're not either. Right. So this just feels like it's XLR in, optical in, like basically all the same ins and outs that you would expect from the Go XLR Mini. Yeah, it is just a Razer device. I will say also the buttons don't feel great, but you can customize the color of the stuff on it because it's a Razer thing. I was not super like it works fine. The XLR input, I think the audio sounds totally fine. Phantom power, all that shit that you would expect. But it's not going to replace my full-fledged motorized Go XLR. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's
broke, and I had to replace it with another Go XLR, and that still feels like the right choice.
It's a tough squeeze getting into that market at the moment.
Yeah. But I feel like the Go XLR software is just clunky enough that I wish that like someone would come along and do something better. Cause like there's the Elgato Wave 3 mic comes with software that lets you do the same type of routing for streams. And then now this Razer thing, which just adds those sliders into Synapse, which we've already covered the issues with having Synapse installed on your PC. And then Beacon was a company out of Canada that I think has a fair number of Go XLR people there working on stuff, but it is a separate thing. It is not actually, they don't have an XLR input. They are just selling a USB mic and then also have a separate hardware device with like a touch screen that you can use the sliders on and stuff. Like the sliders and stuff look very pretty. And I was eyeballing it when my first Go XLR blew up, but then looking at what it really could do and then could not do, I was like, fuck it. I guess I just need to get another Go XLR and then send the other one out to get fixed so that I've got a backup, because that thing is broken on me now twice. That first one I had. So
really,
yeah. I had a port blowout on it to where the headphones were only one side was working, and so I had to send it out for that. And then I don't know what was happening the other time, but it basically was no longer functional. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's probably room for someone to get into this market with the right device, because enough of these things are close enough. I think the full-fledged Go XLR, even though it's $500, is probably still the best thing I've used. But
yeah, but you're right. The software is problematic. I constantly run the beta version of the software, and I'm just like, I once a month I am like rolling back, or I'm doing something that I'm just like, oh, this doesn't work as well as it used to, and I want to change it. And
I bailed out of their beta stuff after the last public release, and they have another beta they started up that adds like basically like a second sub mix that subtracts music, so it's easy for you to, like, if you're doing that stream Twitch thing with OBS where you can say like, oh, I got one feed that's the full feed for the live stream, and then for the archive I don't want the licensed music that I am playing nonstop on my stream to be part of the archive. It automatically does all that stuff, which is convenient, but I'm not convenient enough for me to install their betas. I think that's, if you want a sign that I am becoming an adult, it is that I do not jump into every single beta for every single thing I can anymore. I
can't be beta.
You crave stability.
There's a certain amount of just like, no, actually, some of this mission critical hardware I need because it is actually mission critical hardware, and maybe I don't need to be on whatever fucking weird bleeding edge build of Windows on the server machine that serves episodes of Blue's Clues and Baby Einstein to my children.
You want me to sign up for the beta? What am I, 27?
Exactly. God damn, I don't have time for this horse shit. I got a life to lead. And then they have a Bluetooth, tiny Bluetooth microphone for streaming stuff that they sent over that is maybe not super relevant to
like a weird
for your phone.
Thing,
okay.
I had it here a second ago. It looks like a vape rig. Yeah, here it is.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah.
I have not been able to get this to work yet, but yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a Bluetooth microphone for. I will probably try to make a TikTok with it because there's that trend that there's this genre of TikTok video of person holding tiny microphone directly up to their face. And now here's the highest tech version of that imaginable. So
bring back stick mics, like teensy tiny Price is Right stick mic.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
You can also do the TikTok meme of the little tiny Avada Kedavra or whatever, the Harry Potter. Get a tiny thick stick. And it goes,
yeah, it's been very big lately.
It's huge.
Very big online.
Get up on that.
Man, can you imagine how cool it'd be if Razer scooters made one of these instead?
I would install Razer Synapse on my computer if it made my scooter glow.
Dude. And then you get the cool scooters with like the wheelie bar in the back that makes it easier to do a wheelie. Ah, shit.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Love scooters.
Yeah, I love oh man. Yes.
Banged my I thought I broke my ankle once because I hit my ankle with a sick tail whip once.
Yeah, I got pretty decent at tail whips, and
I did that too.
And then fucked myself up quite a lot.
You know, if we could just take another minute to talk about TikTok for a second.
Okay.
TikTok.
So I'm now noticing that when I tell my wife something while she's in like the funk, and I say the funk meaning like she's scrolling through TikTok, if I tell her something in that zone and I ask her to recall it just a mere hours later, she don't remember it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've
you need
experimented.
To do a double-blind test if you haven't.
Well, yet. Sure, right. My unscientific test here, proving that the brain rot going on while in TikTok zone
100%
is real bad.
It's a time sink and a brain warp TikTok.
Cool. Where can I get more?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it sucks, man. That sucks.
I only use it. Yeah, well, there's also, it's certainly possible. She has to turn to an alternate reality to get away from.
She's like, this is the only thing that makes me happy anymore.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's it's one step further on the road to blipverts in the game and all the other stuff that is going to eventually destroy society. And I say, bring it on, and I'll go rent a Tesla and we'll fucking make some real money around here. I only look at TikTok late at night, like right before bed. I'll spend, I don't know, half an hour or something just like scrolling through some stuff and just being like, yeah, that's some goofy shit. Yeah, this is stupid. I love how stupid this is.
I say, look, you're talking to a guy who's now chemically dependent on spectating Sudoku solving to get to bed at night. So, pot, kettle black and all that.
I'm currently on shrimp boil crawfish TikTok. Weird.
I also got into shrimp boil crawfish TikTok. What is going on?
Is it the dude that just throws 4 gallons of Tampico?
Juice?
Yeah.
Yes. What the hell? We saw this.
It's like, man,
he's got the best accent. Oh my god.
I love seasoning, but that's buddy.
I've been deep into sorting algorithm TikTok.
What?
Great.
The visualized versions of sorting algorithms. Like this was on YouTube for years, and some this has been kicking around for a long time, but there's a couple accounts on TikTok that are doing it now, and it is, like imagine what a computer must do when it's what do you do when you sort something from A to Z? How do you do it? There are different ways to do it, right? You could go like, I'm gonna take every item off my shelf and put it exactly where it goes at the time that the final list is being built, or you could go like, I'm gonna put all my A's together and all my B's together, and then I'll sort them better later.
So what this does, names,
Yeah, they all have names, and so it takes those and visualizes them in a chart or a bar chart or a graph or sometimes fancy circles, and it just moves the colored data around, and there's noises associated with it. So it's this little blobby blob noise that happens as it's doing it, and it's just a very thoroughly satisfying thing to watch. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend you check it out. Why don't we take a break,
please?
Yeah, I know what you want to do.
I got some stuff I gotta go watch. We'll be back with the news. Food, it's a nightmare. Trying to eat properly. Just take it from me, someone who often fails at this. It's, it can be hard in these fast-paced times to take time for yourself to eat properly. It's very easy to just get garbage. But you shouldn't eat garbage. Not to get all preachy here, but maybe don't always eat garbage. There can be an alternative. There can be Freshly, for example. It's food that's fast without being fast food. These are meals delivered to your home. They're designed by nutritionists, cooked by chefs, and delivered fresh and cold and ready for you to heat up and eat in like 3 minutes. You know, it's like they send you the food, you put it in your refrigerator, and when you're ready to go, you throw it in your microwave for like 3 minutes, and it's good to go. You don't want to spend an hour cooking dinner after everything else that you have going on, all of that stress, all that other stuff. And takeout is crazy expensive over time, and it's junk a lot of the time, honestly. And whether it's for you or your whole family, Freshly gives you convenience, flavor, and nutrition. What kind of food are we talking here? I mean, I know, like, you hear about these meal prep services and you're just like, oh, this stuff it's like they're sending me wood and asking me to eat wood. No, this is what they got. They got chicken breast. They got chicken tikka masala. They sent some of that over here and I ate it. They got baked turkey meatballs. Just all this chicken and drop biscuits. They got a barbecue bison burger. They've got steak peppercorn, some homestyle chicken, a 3-grain harvest bowl, a wide variety. Whether you're into eating meat or into not eating meat, they are ready, for you. These are delicious, fresh, and healthy meals. They're fresh and they're not frozen. They're just ready to heat. They come to your place cold, packed in a box with cold stuff, and it's very easy to actually dispose of that packaging and then in a safe and recyclable way and all that sort of stuff. And they tell you how to do all of that stuff. And this stuff gets delivered to your home auto-magically. You can use the website or an app to find meals that fit your lifestyle. They've got plans that work for your dietary needs, preferences, tastes, family size, all sorts of stuff. They have over 50 entrees. And they've got multi-serve sides, like the Masterful mac and cheese. And a new line of plant-based meals. Skip all the grocery shopping and, the dirty dishes. You can skip some of that too. Look, maybe you want to serve this on a plate because it's like fancy looking food. Or maybe you want to eat it right out of the thing it gets microwaved in, which is also totally valid. That's fully what I did. Depends on your situation. Your meals arrive cooked and fresh every single week, and new meals are added weekly, so you're not stuck eating the same thing over and over again. Stop stressing about dinner. Right now, Freshly is offering listeners $80 off your first 4 orders when you go to freshly.com/bomb. That's $80 off at freshly.com/bomb. It's keeping cool, when you're sleeping. It's getting hot in here, so you need to think about what you're doing to sleep better at night. I think that's how that song goes. Science tells us that the best way to achieve and maintain consistent deep sleep is by lowering your core body temperature. Temperature-controlled sleep repairs muscle after a hard day's work and improves cognitive function, so you always start your day feeling sharp and alert. And that's where Chill Sleep comes in. Chill Sleep makes customizable, climate-controlled sleep solutions that help you improve your entire well-being. Chill Sleep makes the Ooler and Cube Sleep. Ooler. It's like cooler without the C on the Ooler. And the Cube sleep systems, hydro-powered, temperature-controlled mattress toppers that fit over your existing mattress to provide your ideal sleep temperature. These luxury mattress pads keep your bed at the perfect temperature for deep sleep, whether you sleep hot or cold. That's the thing, if you run hot, you can cool it down. If you are ice cold freezing at night, even when it's 90 degrees all day, you can still heat it up. You can adjust these temperatures to your liking. And if you're sleeping with somebody else and you both, let's say, run in opposite ends of the heat spectrum, as a possibility, as an example, the Uller and Cube sleep systems from Chill Sleep, they make it happen. It still works. It still works. These sleep systems are designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and give you the confidence and energy to power through your day. Imagine, if you will, waking up and not feeling tired. Chilly Sleep can make that happen. For an extra layer of comfort, they also make the Chilly Blanket, the only weighted blanket that can also be paired with a control unit for the ultimate sweat-free sleep. It is at night. It is going to be 90 degrees here as I am recording this today, and the house heats up. And yeah, hey, you can run the air conditioner all night if you really want to spend $1 zillion doing that. Or you can focus on where you're actually at, which is in bed. And the Chilly Sleep, it's a mattress topper. You set it on there. You control it. You set it all up. It's easy. You slap it down. You got your box, your control unit, the unit that goes kind of under the bed to kind of maintain the temperature. You've got the thing. It feels like you're not. It feels like you're sleeping on nothing. It's nice. It's nice. Head on over to chillysleep.com/bomb to learn more and save 30% off the purchase of any new Cube or Uller sleep system. This offer is available exclusively for our listeners right here, right now, and only for a limited time. Chilly, CHILI, sleep.com/bomb to take advantage of this exclusive discount and wake up refreshed every day. All right, we're back. Now, why don't we talk about some news? I'd love the news happening around the world at this time in the world of video games. The Witcher is back. Not really. The Witcher's going to come back. We already knew that. But
Netflix?
No, the video games. A new saga of Witcher games has been announced. This is CD Projekt Red had said, hey, after Cyberpunk, we're going to get back to Witcher, but they did put out a very kind of not like a very short statement saying, here's what we're doing. And the big difference with this new saga of Witcher games is that it comes along with a multi-year strategic partnership with Epic Games, covering licensing and technical development of Unreal Engine 5, and 6, 7, 8, whatever ends up, by the time they're done making Witcher games, who knows? But yes, they are going to transition off of the engine they used to make The Witcher and Cyberpunk, the Red engine, and they're going to start working in UE5, which, as someone who felt like perhaps Cyberpunk has had some issues, it's a bold take, I know.
No.
Perhaps changing engines would be useful for them for a handful of reasons.
Quick semi-related question. If they had to offer up an apology because the game is broken, would they also still use a yellow screen or like a bloody one for The Witcher?
No, it'd be snow covered. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be like a snow. Yeah.
Important to note that icon is different than Geralt's. Like it's a different, like that wolf or whatever looking thing. That's not his. It could be Ceres or
yeah.
Right. That would make sense considering how those games went. That I think that was the thing that people seem to want out of those games. But there's not a whole lot of detail here other than they're going to make the change to UE5 and that they will closely collaborate with Epic, with the primary goal being to help tailor the engine for open world experiences. So sounds like they'll be contributing stuff perhaps back to Epic as a part of this, or working with Epic directly as they have needs for the engine when it comes to, hey, UE5 is not good at this yet, so we need to build it in such a way that does that. That's not entirely uncommon. That was something that when Mortal Kombat started using Unreal Engine and started doing it at 60 frames a second. I remember there being some sentiment inside Epic of like, man, we didn't necessarily intend for this thing to be able to run at 60. That's crazy that you're doing this. And
that's right.
Different developers extend the engine in different ways. So yeah, no further detail. They say about a development time frame or release date. The one thing they did follow up on is to say that they are still using the Red engine for the future Cyberpunk content. They have an expansion in development. They're not changing engines for that, of course. And then on social media, they had to get out and say and respond to someone who was like, well, I guess this is an Epic exclusive, so how about you get fucked? Which is what everyone says whenever anyone does an Epic exclusive. And they said, no, we're not planning to make the game exclusive to any one storefront.
No, we will not get fucked.
Yeah. I mean, they run their own store. They run they run the GOG store.
Yeah.
And their whole point of that store is to offer DRM free versions of games and do all this other stuff. So it seems like philosophically they are not the sort of company that would be likely to be exclusive to Epic. Though, post Cyberpunk, I feel like anything's possible. I mean, hell, they're dropping their own engine in favor of UE5, so clearly they realized that a change needed to happen for whatever they're doing next.
Engines are hard, like
in every sense of the word.
And maintaining your own engine and hiring people to come work on your proprietary engine instead of one that they probably worked at their last job and all that stuff. This.
Absolutely a huge endeavor to even keep that stuff up to date, even it's a financial drain, it's a employee drain, it's a priority drain to have to maintain and build engines and stuff like that. So it makes sense, especially after all the Cyberpunk kerfuffling that happened, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Might check this one out. I've always been Witcher curious.
Yeah, I mean, good. I never liked the way those games controlled and moved. It was like this. The characters felt very muddy to move around. It was not entirely unlike the Ghostwire Tokyo discussion when it comes to just how that game felt. I do
like Geralt though.
He's hot.
That dude. He's got his feet.
He's got his feet.
He's got his feet. There's new Switch firmware.
Oh.
How?
What'd they do?
What did they add this time that they could have done the whole time?
Folders, baby. What if you put your games into folders?
Oh man,
it's a bigger screen.
They patched in a bigger screen. That's you can have up to 100 folders on a Switch and 200 games per folder. I don't know how fucking big your SD card is.
Yeah, got that terabyte SD. What's up?
Yeah. This system has been out for like 5 years, and this seems like something. I mean, but I guess by the same token, I don't remember how long it took the PlayStation 4 to eventually have folders.
I think it was a while.
It was a while, and then the PS5 came out and didn't have them all over again. And
I can't believe this is up to version 14 already.
They're weird with their numbers. They're
skipping, are we skipping? Is this like the Turnpike where not every mile gets a number? Like what happened?
Probably. They were on like 13.1 or 13.2 or something like that. So they do. But they will go a whole number revision without any of the features seeming major or significant. They'll be like, here's version 13. What's it do? Fucking security. I don't know. Better experience for you. Stop asking.
We increased the font size by 0.5.
Yeah. The other thing they did is add the ability to control the volume when you're using like a Bluetooth headphones or something like that, which the Bluetooth stuff came relatively recently. I think that was the 13.0 edition. So,
interesting.
Congratulations to Nintendo for reaching this important milestone.
Yeah, Kirby better be compatible with it. Okay.
Yeah, if I can put Kirby in a folder, then we're on to something.
Kirby is.
I have gone. I have gone the other way very hard on leaving things installed versus blasting them the F off of my systems. I used to be very much about like keeping all the hard drives on these consoles full at all times. And I think I just got tired of managing it for games that I was like really probably never going to play and could always just re-download. Just like this idea of just like, well, I've got Balan Wonderworld here because there's a part of me that is sick and I have an illness that makes me want to get back to it because my head doesn't work right. I think I finally just said like, you know what, I'm gonna blast that off of here. Or like, hey, if I'm gonna play Windjammers 2, it's probably not going to be on the PlayStation 5. It's probably going to be on the version that is on Game Pass because there's probably more people playing it. So I don't need to keep that installed. I don't need to keep those icons there. So like this whole folders thing, especially on the Switch, I don't know. I bought a decent sized SD card, but I feel like I have like 9 games installed on my Switch, and even that seems like too many.
Yeah.
I have a shit ton, but they're mostly smaller games, I guess. I could go for some folders. Yeah, that seems handy, but at the same time, this is like too little. It's been so long.
Make a Pokemon folder.
Sure.
Mario folder.
I think that is one of the examples they give in their screenshots is a Pokemon folder.
Feeling my mind ideas.
Yeah, that's right. World War II's favorite fighter is coming to Call of Duty Vanguard on April 19th. Everyone's favorite war hero, Snoop Dogg.
The D-O-double-G.
Yes.
Okay.
That was my second guess after Winston Churchill.
Okay.
Yeah. April 4/19.
Huh.
They're putting Snoop Dogg into...
That seems like a missed opportunity. What?
It means it's just coming out that night, so it's ready for you in the morning.
Okay, cool.
You
can wake up the way you want to wake up.
Wake and bake and Call of Duty.
Yeah, they have not revealed what else will be part of the operator bundle, what other items he will have. I'm going to assume it's weed icons on the guns.
Oh!
I'm just going to guess here.
Stoner soldiers out there.
Smoking jazz cigarettes.
Yeah. Yes, they're jazz cigarettes. I don't... look, they put fucking Rambo in the last one. John McClane is in, they did an Attack on Titan thing for Call of Duty Vanguard already. So it's not like they're going for gritty, realistic World War II action. And they shouldn't, because it's Call of Duty. It's not some sim. There's just some kind of cognitive dissonance here with the idea of Snoop Dogg being a playable character in the World War II Call of Duty game that I'm having a little bit of trouble with. And I don't know, like he'll also be playable in Warzone. And then there's a separate bundle that's coming to Call of Duty Mobile. There's a quote here. The D-O-double-G is back in Call of Duty, and this time I'm in the freaking game. Excited to be working with the COD team to bring some fly features for you all to enjoy. It's dope.
I hope so, Snoop. I hope it is dope.
All right, good job, Snoop.
Not since Exhibit said Activision, baby. Bang! Have I felt some West Coast hip hop involvement in the Call of Duty franchise.
Happy Easter, Xbox.
Yes, happy Easter, Xbox. Indeed, there is a part of speaking of my new rule of uninstalling video games, I do not have Vanguard installed on any platform at all.
Wow,
but there is some part of me that is sick, and there's a part of me that is like, well, if they're putting Snoop Dogg with his own voice lines in this very chatty Call of Duty game, I'm not gonna.
He's gonna be like $20, right?
Yep.
Probably something like that. Yeah, that would fit. I think with what the John McClane and Rambo stuff was something in that range. This is
lines, John McClane and Rambo.
Yes, but I don't think it was actually them.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Well, Bruce Willis will do anything. So
yes,
as long as it's airing outside the U.S., he will fucking show up for whatever commercial you got. He's down. He'll license out his likeness so you can make a fucking deep fake version of him. He didn't give a fuck. Well, yes, pay me.
That's it.
I feel like he could benefit from figuring out what a cameo is, and he could just do that, instead of all these.
No, that's too much work.
Movies.
You mean like the website or like cameoing in movies? Or she should
like
be on Cameo going, hey,
yeah, that's too much work.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yep.
Ricky wanted me to tell you happy birthday. Shoot the glass. And then like you give him like $400.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I think that's too much work for Bruce Willis. I think at the current Bruce Willis just wants to be deep faked into everything where there's no effort involved, where he just signs like some sort of deep fake licensing agreement.
And more power to him. I think that's beautiful, and I think that he should go and do that. Because someone has to be on the tip of the spear for fuck it, pay me to make a computer version of me for your thing.
That's where he's at. Like,
and great.
He's, you are going to see him everywhere forever, well past his expiration.
Yes, I hope deepfake Bruce Willis is in a fucking like Die Hard sequel at some point.
Yeah,
that it stops being these fucking weird movies you never heard about, and suddenly they're just like 80 years from now, they're like, Die Hard's back, and so is Bruce Willis.
I hope Ready Player 2 is just all Bruce Willis.
Oh God!
Why would you just say that? Haven't we laid the ground rules about this podcast, where the fucking second you say a thing, it then exists and will somehow manifest into this world, and we just need to be careful and selective with what we say, Jan.
Someone has already made or in the process of making a Sifu mod where you fight nothing but Bruce Willis's and you are Bruce Willis.
There we go.
And then we can reenact the movie The One starring Jet Li, but now it stars Bruce Willis. Bruce Willi? Is that the multiple?
Can I just say, now that we're on the Bruce Willis kick, like there was a good 15-year period where I fucking loved everything that guy did.
Sure, of course.
Where I was just like Fifth Element, fucking like I was just forget it. I was Mr. Will. I was his number one.
It's a
fan.
Masterpiece. That's not a wild claim right there.
Even the fucking bullshit weirdo like.
Like Red or something?
No, not that.
That's on the other side of
Hudson Hawk.
He did this like dumbass Canadian comedy with Matt Perry called The Whole Nine Yards.
Oh yeah,
and that one's all right. Kevin Pollak's in it. Amanda Pete's in it. It's okay. And
I wish nothing but the best for Bruce Willis in his endeavors for sure. Yes,
I wish his hologram nothing but the best.
Yes, I hope generations of his family are able to. I hope he creates generational wealth with his likeness for Rumor and the other Willis children. Are there other Willis children? Probably are. Anyway, Gran Turismo 7. It's out there. It's a disaster. That's maybe a little strong. People are pissed. Stop me if you heard this one, but people who play video games are pissed off about a video game. This time it's
this one though.
Yeah,
Should I stop you? Should we skip this one?
No, this one is different.
Okay.
There's some fun wrinkles here. So let's see. That game came out. People seemed very unhappy about the microtransaction aspect of the game, which again is a very stock thing. But it was a much more severe cost than the previous game in the franchise. And then on top of that, the game went down for about 30 hours because a patch hit that maybe had some potential to corrupt some saves. At least that's what their claim was. And so the game was down for a long time, which revealed just how little you can do if that game is not connected to the internet.
Oh, no.
It is very much limited to just like the music race, which is like a new goofy little thing they threw in there. And you kind of can't really play that game offline. Which there's a lot of offline, like single player content in that game. It is not necessarily a multiplayer focused game the way GT Sport was supposed to be. And so that pissed off a lot of people who were already pissed off about the microtransaction stuff, which led to Kazunori Yamauchi from Polyphony Digital issuing a statement around here saying, this was a rare issue that was not seen during tests on the development hardware or the QA sessions prior to the release, but in order to prioritize the safety of the save data of the users, we decided to interrupt the release of 1.07 update and to make a 1.08 correctional update, and then further addressed some of the money stuff by saying, in GT7, I would like to have users enjoy lots of cars and races, even without microtransactions. At the same time, the pricing of cars is an important element that conveys their value and rarity, so I do think it's important for it to be linked with the real world prices. There are there's a higher tier limited car that the prices will fluctuate based on external factors and some other stuff like that. So he's kind of addressing some of that as well. I want to make GT7 a game in which you can enjoy a variety of cars lots of different ways, and if possible, would like to try to avoid a situation where a player must mechanically keep replaying certain events over and over again. So in that, he is talking about a thing they did in these patches is people were grinding out races for credits, and so as a part of that patch, they just went in and reduced the rewards you get for some of those races to make it harder to grind for the expensive cars, thus making the microtransaction issue more of an issue because making it harder to earn money for free. We will in time let you know the update plans for additional content, additional race events, and additional features that will constructively resolve this. It pains me that I can't explain the details regarding this at the moment, but we plan on continuing to revise GT7 so that as many players as possible can enjoy the game. We would really appreciate it if everyone could watch over the growth of Gran Turismo 7 from a somewhat longer-term point of view. Which I get it
Ew.
because ew. Like what? Think about it this way. Gran Turismo 7 is supposed to be a game that you're meant to play for years because it's not like they're going to put one out next year. So in their mind, they're like, well, we've got years of content planned. And if you are grinding out enough credits right now to just buy all the fast cars that we expected you to have, like maybe you would get this car next year as like a thing you could shoot for a long time over your race career. If you're grinding out these credits, you're disrupting all our plans. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to us? You're playing the game wrong. So we will adjust the credits thusly to dissuade you from this nasty tactic. It's not a great way to solve this problem. Players have stricken back. I saw this morning on Video Games Chronicle.
They stopped driving their cars in the game. They're blocking the roads.
Protests.
Yep.
Clogging all the major arteries.
That's right. The convoy is pulled into fucking Dogs Turismo 3. No, they're running a script that lets them automatically run races and earn about 15 million credits a day doing so.
What?
Oh, okay. The next best thing.
Yeah, they have taken the PlayStation's remote play feature, which lets you control your PlayStation games from a Windows PC, which is where the script exists. And then you download a thing to your PC and it interfaces with the remote play session. And then you just let it run all day and it just runs the same event over and over again without you.
Good.
And
stick it to the man.
And yeah, exactly. At the time of publishing of this article, Video Games Chronicle had not heard of anyone being banned or acted against for doing this. But this is all so hot and new. We will have to see how Sony reacts. But this is kind of getting away from them. That's a bad situation when you've got players passing around like auto driving scripts to grind out credits and stuff. Like this is like the economy of this game probably needs to be addressed in grander fashion because yeah, that's no good.
We just have to be patient with it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So like I, don't know a super duper ton about Gran Turismo. It's a car game. But it's not like, this isn't like having an aimbot in a competitive atmosphere or something like that, right?
Yeah, so
you're
not doing
player
this. Yes,
experience.
it's a single player. You were just doing it to grind out credits.
Why do
the catch is, of course,
grind?
Because they sell those credits for money. Because they let you buy those credits with real money, and so if you're circumventing,
they shouldn't. Anyway, so
well, I mean that ship sailed a decade and a half ago.
So, this is your own. You made your bed. Got to lie in it now.
This is what they created, and I feel for them because I'm sure on the development side, no one wanted this to happen. But at the same time, they have built that game in such a way to inspire users to do this, and that is the mistake they made, and that is the mistake they need to address in order to make things right for players. And find a way, because obviously I'm sure that they plan to support this game for years to come with new cars, new content, and all this other stuff. And if players are just grinding out all this stuff with a script and not spending any money on that additional content, at some point they're going to go like, hey, it's not financially viable for us to even make this content if you're just going to grind it out this way. So we're not going to support it.
There's some sort of capitalist microcosm lesson to be learned here, but I'm not smart enough to make the comparison.
Quick question: is Gran Turismo? Are people playing it multiplayer? Or is it primarily like, oh, I want to unlock this car because I want to run these races against the AI, or I just want to get like better and better times?
I suspect different players play it for different reasons, right? But the AI in the game is not particularly human. It is very much like it wants to stick to its line unless you bump it off that line. And that's probably one of the bigger kind of gameplay knocks against it that I've seen going around, that I felt in my time with the game as well. But I think there's definitely an aspect of just like, hey, I just want to see these beautiful cars and do all this stuff. Like for me, I'm not into those high-end vehicles that they are selling this way, like with all the race stickers and all that other crap. Like I want to tune up drift cars and do stupid shit. And with like production model vehicles, that's my interest in car games. So that aspect of the game is certainly just not for me at all. But yeah, I mean, people who play it online, there's definitely a sub segment of players that take that online very seriously and have turned it into a full-on esport. And then some players have gone on to race in real actual cars after getting real good at Gran Turismo.
That's
not that it's iRacing or something like that. I mean, but it has been a stepping stone for people who want to get involved in a more real way. So
it's interesting because just yesterday I saw someone walk out of a Best Buy with a copy of Gran Turismo 7 and a brand new racing wheel.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I kind of want to live this life.
Look at you just being influenced so easily.
I know. I resisted though.
Don't buy a racing wheel. Don't buy a racing wheel.
Stay strong.
You don't need a racing wheel.
What about a whole setup with a chair?
Yeah, that'll be also in your shot if you buy a racing wheel, I feel like, somehow.
It'll just be right here. I'll incorporate it into like producing the show and everything.
Instead, build the most accurate plane cockpit you can.
I'd love to.
Yeah. While we're on the topic of messes in video games, Babylon's Fall, remember that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Barely.
Already deleted it from my mind.
Fondly.
Yeah. So this is the pretty bad Square Enix release that Platinum developed. This game has really failed to attract an audience so far. The Steam numbers have to be devastating for anyone who's spent any time working on this game. It's like hovering around 500, if that, on a lot of days, and it's just no one was attracted to this game, which is for the best because it just doesn't seem like a very good game. On top of that, it seems real rotten. So they have put something out on Twitter that I feel like they must have been getting this question a lot because they felt the need to address it. And so today we revealed new information about version 1.1.0, the Nier Automata collaboration event, and the future of Babylon's Fall development. Read the full update here. But they have put, and that full update is a bunch of screenshots or a bunch of images with they're saying, hey, we're raising the player level cap from 150 to 200 power, but like that's an image for some reason. It's the most insane update on their website. But also, the part that is not part of their website update is the image they attached on Twitter. That is just it's the typical kind of like, hey, we're putting text on Twitter graphic for a game, right? It's the game logo. It's stylized in their fonts and stuff. But it straight up says, is the continuing service in danger? Like they're daring to ask the question, are you guys going to keep making this game? Should I buy it or is it already dead? And they respond to the question that they asked. Say, no, there are no plans to reduce the scale of development on Babylon's Fall. Content up to the end of Season 2 is now practically complete, and we've started work on Season 3 and beyond. We will continue to provide new content for the game and make improvements based on player feedback, striving to keep existing players playing and to attract newcomers. We would like to thank all Sentinels already enjoying the world of Babylon's Fall as we look forward to welcoming more of you in the future. They're also putting out a Steam demo alongside this.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah, that's a rough one. I don't know. That Steam demo was out today. Very hard for me to see a world in which that game digs itself out. Of course, that's what everyone said about Final Fantasy 14. But
people love a comeback.
Yeah, I don't see them doing the work here. Last week you talked about that survey about the graphics. I wonder if they'll have more surveys to come about. Hey, what do you want to do with the gameplay on this? I just Colonel Sanders 21 in the chat says 134 people on Steam right now, and this is the day that demo came out. So you'd think that like if that demo interfaces with the full version of the game, that maybe that would be people going like, oh, maybe I'll find people for one of these early missions finally. But I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. There are too many games like this now. You cannot afford to launch bad anymore. Word of mouth is a killer for this sort of stuff. And it's easy to say, oh, everyone loves an underdog or comeback story or all this other stuff. But like, there will be 5 more games like this, but better by the time they can get this thing patched or changed in such a way. And the Final Fantasy 14 thing was like, they basically replaced the video game with a different video game. Sure. Hard to imagine them willing to spend that kind of money here on this.
Speaking about similar games, I think I saw Godfall had an update recently or something.
Yeah, there was something.
And I remembered Godfall exists.
So they're not the whole game, just the end part?
That was the big patch, the big rename they did, right? Was they were like, oh, what if we just jumped you to the end game where these weapons were actually fun to use?
Mm-hmm.
And that seems like very dicey. Like, I don't know that I agree, but Godfall. And it also came to that was them. They did that alongside also putting the game out on PS4. They're like, hey, this PS5 exclusive that we launched at PS5 launch, coming to PS4. Yeah.
Please play our game.
Please. It's hard for me to see a situation where Babylon's Fall is anything other than what it is now. I don't know how they I don't know how they do anything with it.
It's so tough to bounce back after, you get branded, it's like the sinking ship, both those games are, real out of the gate. They're just real bad. And to get to anywhere where it's, profitable or, played again, that's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think about Anthem a lot when it comes to Babylon's Fall because they seem similar in a lot of ways. But Anthem, I feel like had a goodwill associated with it out of the gate, and at least like there were aspects of playing that video game that felt like they were at least had potential and at least were cool at first. It was just they got ground into the ground by the time you were done with that campaign, and Anthem couldn't pull it off. They spent time thinking about it, and
yes, a little bit of time. Like they pretty much tanked that like very soon. Afterwards.
But I feel like there was I don't know. It feels like there was at least a little bit more goodwill with Anthem.
Yeah,
there was something of an Anthem defense force for a period of time. I don't feel like anyone's out there fucking ringing the bell for Babylon's Fall.
I can't imagine.
Anthem had good aspects of it. Like you said, there was a game there. There's just wasn't enough of it, and with these two, I can't see. Yeah, I can't see. I don't want to see.
Yeah. PlayStation has acquired Haven Studios.
Of course,
on the acquisition front. Yeah. No, this is Jade Raymond's studio that she founded alongside some other ex-Google folks when they got out of Stadia development. And they were already being funded by PlayStation. They were working on a new IP for PlayStation, and so they have sold it to them. Let's see, they are over 60 people now. They've started with around 20 or so, and there's like a brief little bit about the game and some of the information they put out, but nothing really. It's you talk about Sony wanting to get into live service games and how many they're going to have by whatever year. This is one of those games. And she literally uses the phrase remix generation when talking about like players today.
Oh my God.
In a way that's like, No, like Jay Allard was talking about Generation Remix when the Xbox 360 was coming out. I don't feel like that's something you can just casually drop and say like, we're making this game for the kids are so different today. It's a weird, it started a little while ago. There's this age of self-expression where we're designing our Nike ID shoes. We're reading our friends' blogs rather than what professional journalists are writing. And I think that has continued to go further with things like TikTok. That's another thing we're thinking about at the heart of this IP. TikTok. It's beyond user-generated content. It is about taking that self-expression and remix concept to the next level. Are you ready for remixes to be taken to the next level?
What the fuck does that even mean?
Only if we add like another channel for audio and add that's just air horn exclusives.
Yeah. You know, whatever. Like she's right in the sense that like, you know, hey, user-generated content is can be a big deal, and finding new ways to bring that to a new level, and hopefully not in an exploitative sense on your player base. You know, hey, Roblox is making a fuck ton of money, so other people are going to try and figure out ways to get their players to build a lot of a game. It's not a new idea, but hopefully they're coming about it in a new and smart way. There was something about that sentence that felt so out of touch.
Yeah.
With like, yes, of course that's happening, but to try to codify it in terms of just like, you can make Nike ID shoes and read your friend's blog. Like, what?
In the metaverse.
On the information superhighway.
Yeah.
It's just so unrelated. Like
you can go to there.com and you can sell skins for your dune buggies. Like it's just a weird.
It's like someone asked a different question.
Yeah. Just real.
Okay.
Real weird, real weird thing to put out there as part of the sale. But
is this person a time traveler? Like,
I mean, you know, she worked on early Assassin's Creed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
She's still in the Animus.
The Animus?
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Metaverse.
Yeah. Jan, I should have mentioned this earlier. Can you grab the image out of this next story?
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna need a visual accompaniment.
Xbox is doing a sweepstakes, and that's a shame because it means not enough people who want them will be able to experience a fuzzy Xbox controller, a furry Xbox controller for the Sonic film.
Notorious for having sweaty hands, though.
Yeah, I can smell these things.
Up
I can already smell these fucking disgusting idea things. Oh my god!
I thought this was like an April Fool's thing, and then they were just like going to sell them, and then I was like, oh, it's a sweepstakes thing. That means they're real.
Yeah,
it means they're real, and there's not enough of them, so you can get them for yourself and ruin them with my disgusting hands.
You know when you're petting your dog? Yeah. How would you like that to be your game controller? Huh?
Hell yeah.
So soothing.
Huh? What do you mean? You mean
I feel like it depends on the quality of the fur. I feel like this is going to be important. I feel like if this was something we could just buy and review, I'd love to buy and review these, because it's like, this is going to be a synthetic hair or fur.
Yeah,
how synthetic we talking? Sweat.
It could come from real hedgehogs. We don't know.
Will it be soft? I assume it'll be a soft and not a prickly kind of, plasticky kind of fake.
It's not going to be like fiber optics. It's going
to. If it was plasticky though, then you could clean it easier, because
there's
no way to clean this thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you put it in the dishwasher and let it dry like a keyboard.
Do a little wipe down.
You're putting it in the garbage when it's dirty. That's what you're doing.
I
put some hair product in there.
Yeah, spike it up.
Pomade on my controller.
Oh yeah.
Look, even if this is mostly a marketing ploy, it's fucking stupid.
No, I love it.
I love how stupid it is.
I want one.
I want one that you can like dye it yourself, like cut its own hair, make a little mohawk out of it.
You want to remix the controller?
Remix the controller.
I hear you. Yeah,
do you think
I'm down.
TikTok?
I think there's gonna be like a skin that they just put over the controller.
Oh,
they could sell those.
An elastic, like
a
furry.
I just want to know if this is
off to clean it.
Is this going to come to the design labs? You can put your own fur on there
for a $35 upcharge, maybe.
Yeah.
they're also including an Xbox Series S with this that has the big vent speaker looking thing on the top has been
It's actually pretty cool.
Dolled up to look like a ring, and then they put Sonic and Knuckles on it, and like, all right.
Sega. I think it's cool.
Can't put fur on that thing, though it'll overheat.
Right. Yeah.
I'll try.
I think this movie looks all right. I'm excited. Maybe I'm just rubbing off. My son's taste is rubbing off a little bit, but I'm jazzed for sure.
I'm bummed out. There's no Tails representation.
Yeah. They ran out of orange and yellow fur, and they couldn't.
Yeah, they couldn't source any.
See, if controllers were still plugged into actual consoles, that's where you could do it. Just have Tails, like Tails plugging in. The Xbox.
This is plastic.
They could have had the two tails hanging off the bottom of the controller.
Yeah,
there's like
sure.
Huh?
How much do you think someone's going to try and resell this for?
Oh, too much money. This is.
I mean, the only thing I would do with this is like display it.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, you would hold that controller once and go, huh.
I'd just be like, it's gross. There's like food caught in it.
Nothing to be gained by using this as an actual controller. So
I would save it for player 2, so they like it's old school.
Like
give them the crappy Mad Catz controller. This is the new remixed generation.
Ooh.
Give them the furry controller.
Post that to my blog.
I want to braid this controller.
I finally have something I can use my Microsoft rewards points for.
Oh.
You can redeem it for a chance to win.
Oh,
sick.
I have not redeemed any of those either.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll go
let's enter.
in hard.
I'm gonna bing the hell out of stuff.
More. They should make more for like influencers and just make them. Just make these. They'll be $200 each.
Yeah,
I'll be an idiot and buy one of them. Come on.
I am of the mind that a lot of this like scarcity stuff on items like this and shoes and all this other stuff is really shitty. Fucking terrible.
Do you think they thought about doing a Robotnik one with like just a shitty mustache poking out of the analog sticks?
Make it like skin textured with a mustache.
Oh jeez.
Bald head texture.
It's made out of eggshells.
Some of Jim Carrey's actual skin. That's why we can only make 2 of these, because he only has so much skin to give.
Yeah, it's the
an
Necronomicon.
though.
Oh.
I feel
that
like
would be cool. A PS5 DualSense with like Kratos skin and the tattoo.
It's just the controller from Existenz, but with the mustache from Robotnik on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
My hands are sweaty thinking about this.
Mm-hmm. Knees weak.
Well, don't have to worry about that anymore. This controller will sweat for you.
All right. All right.
I'm too amused by this body horror conversation with this controller.
A former IT security analyst is seeking class action status in her lawsuit against PlayStation, claiming that she was discriminated against. And it sounds like there are other women looking to come forward, and that's why she's seeking the class action status, alleging violations of the Equal Pay Act, and claiming this is according to Axios, who parsed the lawsuit. Emma Majo or Majo, I don't do not know the pronunciation. Majo is saying Sony discriminates against female employees, including those who are female and those who identify as female, in compensation and promotion, and subjects them to a work culture predominated by men. She further alleges that she was ignored by a manager who only responded to men, was passed over for promotions, and was terminated this year after submitting a gender bias complaint to the company. And that other women at PlayStation struggle to get promoted at the same rate as men. That's kind of the long and short of it there. We'll kind of see, how that stuff comes forward. That is obviously a issue that a lot of companies need to be better about rectifying. I'm sure if PlayStation is at fault here, they're certainly not alone. And then the other big story going around over the last week, VentureBeat has a very long and detailed piece about Moon Studios. Who is the team responsible for the Ori franchise.
Yeah.
And there's just been a number of ex-employees, current employees speaking anonymously, like all sorts of stuff, sharing Slack conversations and all this other stuff, saying that the founders of this company have tried to have like we're at a real no holds barred environment around here, and we want to speak our minds, which led to a bunch of racist and sexist and bullying and all sorts of other really nasty stuff that makes that place sound like a really fucking bad place to work.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Ratty.
Fuck.
Yeah, this honestly, this VentureBeat piece is, like I said, exhaustive. There's a long response from the two founders of Moon Studios, basically kind of refuting it and saying, we don't believe the experiences suggested by your questions are representative of the more than 80 Moon Studios team members who are thriving and doing great work every day.
Thriving, I say. Thriving.
We appreciate, and later on, we appreciate the irony that we, an Austrian and an Israeli Jew, started this multicultural enterprise. We view each other as brothers. Like the number of people that have come forward to VentureBeat for this is like, it's a large number. So at some point, for the two of them to like try to dig out of this by saying no,
pulling that card is a real move.
Real wild.
If you go to that,
what a tactic.
Yeah, like that's what you're starting with, huh? Like, okay, not starting with like, hey, clearly we need to we need to do
misrepresented.
God,
it's wild that like there's all these people who are just like, yo, we're gonna be the first ones to get away with this shit. To like, we're gonna make this move and it's gonna work. You see,
this
literally 0% success rate so far coming out like that.
Like, not a great way to make games, not a great way to be a collaborator. Like there's no upside to this shit. It's not like they
racist. I'm a race. Like, what is what?
Yeah, it's
huh?
You should go if you want to know more. You should really look at this VentureBeat piece. It is it is the longest text article I think I have seen on that website or damn near any other in a very long time. It is there's just a lot there to dig through, but the long and short of it is, yeah, their response to this just seems like, wow, that's what you're going. That's where you're gonna go, huh? All right.
Yikes.
So, yeah. All right. That's gonna wrap it up for news. We're gonna come on back with some emails here in a little bit. So why don't everybody stay tuned, and we'll be back in a jiffy. How about that?
Ooh, jiffy.
All right.
All right, we're back. Why don't we get into a handful of emails now?
Baby.
Please.
Right. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is where you are sending your emails if you want them to come our way. As several of these folks did.
You lucky few.
Yeah. Steve in Saratoga writes in with a question for Dr. Hockey.
Doc Hawk.
What is the best hockey card you own? Being a Buffalo Sabres fan, I was tempted to chase the Jack Eichel rookie auto patch when he was drafted in the mid-2010s. Thankfully, I did not, and recently made a modest bid to buy the same card at a fraction of its peak value. Considering your obsession with keyboard and pinball collecting, it got me wondering about your hockey card collection. Do you have one, and what is its crown jewel?
So I hate to break the hearts of literally less than a dozen people.
I'm one of them, by the way.
Okay, good.
My barber.
I'm not into,
Say it to his face.
I'm not into the cards. Like I'm just not. It's just not a thing I have an interest in collecting. The closest thing to that, I have a bunch of signed hockey pucks. But I've just, and only through like acquiring them through other means than buying them. I was gifted a couple.
Stole a couple.
I stole a couple. I forced players to sign certain pucks under shady circumstances. The best puck I have is a Connor McDavid signed Erie Otters puck, which is the OHL team he played on before he was drafted to the NHL. And he's the best player in the world right now. So That's the coolest puck I have. I don't know what it's worth. I don't care. It just sits on a shelf in a little plastic case. And yeah, those are neat, but I don't do the cards. I'm sorry. Dr. Hockey has failed you.
Wow. I need to find. I have an autographed Mario Lemieux hockey puck.
Oh,
that seems valuable.
Because they did a Genesis game. They did Mario Lemieux hockey, and they sent out autographed hockey pucks alongside it.
Like for realsies, it's not just like a print.
That's
pretty dope. That is pretty dope.
That's somewhere. I should find that.
Seems like something I should find. Yeah, I mean, he's a legend for sure. Definitely want to look that one up.
That guy, he's up there.
I've heard of him.
He's no Luke Robitaille, but what are you going to do?
He's a lot more than Luke Robitaille. Is who he is.
Take that back.
Can't.
Lucky Luke Robitaille. He's no Pat Falloon.
Wow,
you Jeremy Roenick.
There you go. That's a slightly more relevant hockey person.
No, Gordon Bombay.
Nice, not a literal fictional hockey person. I love how people have like
Sleeve McDykel.
What?
Sleeve McDykel. He's not him.
No,
you just made that up. I think
maybe not. Maybe it's from something. Who's to say? Sleeve McDykel.
Who's to say?
Dr. Hockey would know.
Well, look,
for sure.
That's not MD, okay?
Well, then you've got some more schooling to do, I suppose.
know, about 7 more
There's
years.
Explaining to do.
I'll get my diploma. Don't you worry.
Yeah. I guess this is also. I think this is probably also a question for. This is a question for Doctor IPA. I think.
Oh shit! I really am. I got to switch to my other robe. Hold on.
Your other lab coat.
This is from Bean in Alabama. This email is titled "Sticky Icky," which made me think it was about one thing.
Right.
But then all it says here is, "How am I supposed to roll that hazy dank can?"
Oh, are they talking about my can rolling shit? Like,
yeah, you got to roll a can to get the sediment out or something. What?
Yeah,
all these, a lot of these IPAs are unfiltered, so there's like,
they're gross. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, they're gross. So like sediment collects at the bottom, and what you want to do is you want to do a nice little can roll. I don't have one with me right here. Oh, I have a different kind of can. You just want to get all the, rub it back and forth. I like putting it on a table. And just sort of like, you got a really long table. You start at one end, you roll it, and then you run around the other side and catch it on the other end. That's a fun trick to do.
A party trick, yeah.
If you do that, won't you agitate the beer and it'll...
So that's a good question. That's part
of the fun.
Whatever well, that's the thing. Like, I want to say there's a way to roll the can and mix it without shaking it. You're not shaking it, you're mixing it, right? So the mixing is not necessarily, making the sort of like carbonated aspect of it go wackadoo. You're really just trying to get everything swirling, not shake it like champagne, where you pop the cork.
If you have like an unfiltered sake, you could just shake it because it's not carbonated. But I didn't know that,
Yeah, there's a way to do it without shaking. Like I said, rolling does not equal shaking, and that's what you want to do.
Do you pour these beers through like some kind of beer colander or a screen door or something?
You want all that. You want
all the sediment. You just need it dispersed.
Is it sitting on a shelf for a couple days? You gotta make sure it's just like you would shake a thing of. Well, you would shake orange juice. You wouldn't really mix it. Yeah. I'm saying you mix it and you roll the can because you can't shake it, it will explode.
Not the same consistency as like an orange juice, though. Like, some
of these kind of are.
Yeah, I was gonna say, these things are thick and gross.
They're
viscous
thick.
Beers.
Yeah, thick babies.
It's not like they're hazy. It's some of them are like orange juice, and some of them almost taste like it too.
When I want orange juice that gets me drunk, I just put vodka in it.
Yep. Sure, that's a screwdriver. You're good.
Give me a mimosa. Give me a screwdriver.
Yeah,
this is
don't do bottomless brunch
into my club. I am not trying to recruit new members, except when I go to your house, I want to drink something I want to drink. But I'm just saying you're just peering in. You're just peering in, and I indoctrinated like 3 to 4 people over the weekend.
Are you a booch guy? You like the booch?
Booch?
Yeah.
What's that?
Kombucha.
Oh, yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
So my question is, like, would not just pouring the sediment-filled IPA, whatever it is, into a glass, would that also satisfy the need to agitate?
No, because the stuff's at the bottom.
Oh, it's like stuck to the walls.
It's not stuck. It just settles at the bottom because it's.
But then if you're pouring it,
yeah,
the stuff at the bottom comes out.
Eventually, right? But not till the very end, and you don't want the very end of it.
You'll float it all. And that's...
Yeah, exactly. So you don't want to do that. It's not as gross as we are describing it. I need everyone to realize.
I mean, yeah. What's the worst thing? Like, let's say you don't roll this can.
Yeah, the worst
is it just
thing
like,
is that
hey, this part is more bitter or gross, and the other part is not? Like, what?
No, it's just the worst part is, when you have 16 ounces usually come in a can, and like your last 6 ounces are just going to be like 4 ounces of beer and then 2 ounces of like that pulp or whatever you want to call it. So you don't want that. And the way you do that is you give it a nice little swirl. Give a nice little, a little twist, if you will, a
little Pepsi twist.
Everyone with me, everyone, try it out with your wrists. Everyone, please.
This makes my hand feel good.
Too.
I want to try that fancy. I haven't found any yet, but there's that fancy Pepsi that is thicker.
Oh,
and that sounds actually like syrup. I think you're describing pancake syrup.
No, it's but I think it's like a Guinness style of thicker.
Oh fuck!
Pepsi Nitro, I think it's called. It's like they do beers. They do nitro things with beers, right? So it's whatever that does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I hope that helps the emailer mix his or her can.
I hopefully it will. Or I mean, you could just go get like a 6 or a Coors Light and just have yourself a nice time.
There you go. And not get drunk. That sounds awesome.
I think get 12. Let's go. Crush them against your head as you go.
Yes, as you will.
Smack them together. Climb a turnbuckle.
Fucking A. Yes, that's right. Jump on the turnbuckle. Pour them all your. God.
What, are you trying to do like a Stone Cold situation here with
a little bit of a Stone Cold situation? Yeah,
he was a Bud Light guy, right?
They were. Yes, I think that. No, they were. I think they went Miller Lite eventually.
Excuse me. They were Steve Weiser's Baccalaureate.
Oh no, they were Bud Heavies. Weren't they Bud Heavies? Stone Cold's not like, I'll take a 24 rack of Bud Light.
No, Stone Cold was like, I'll take whatever company is paying us to have their beers on camera. So
true. I always thought that was so funny where like you'd see like the Sandman just rocking like a Michelob Ultra. You're like, wait, what the fuck?
Pound of these Lobtras, 20 calories.
Like, dude,
I gotta work tonight.
Come on.
You know? Come on. Yeah, Stone Cold. Why?
Don't do it, Steve.
Don't do it.
Don't tarnish your legacy.
Do what? What's happening with Stone? Is something happening?
They're building towards him like having some kind of encounter with Kevin Owens, and the whole thing is to me. The whole thing is they've based it on Kevin Owens talking a ton of shit about Texas, and so naturally Stone Cold will have to come defend the honor of Texas, even though I don't think he lives there full time anymore. But on top of that, not a great time to be out there defending Texas.
Yeah.
With everything that's been going on there with the laws and such, it seems like a really bad fucking time to be like, nope, don't mess with Texas. Hell, give me a hell yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not down with trans rights, give me a hell yeah. I don't know. It's just fucking it's a bad time for that fucking storyline. It's a fucking terrible time for that storyline. Let's see. Okay, Okay, sorry. So I flagged some of these emails. We've been running a little long lately, so I flagged some of these emails weeks ago, and so these are emails I have read before, but I can't always remember if I've read them on the show. Did we read an email? Did we take an email about someone who worked for a taxi company and also worked for a trap house at the same time?
No, I don't think so. That does not ring a bell.
All right. Joe from Michigan writes in and says, hey all, occasionally Jeff will talk about some things he did as a youth that were less than lawful. I wanted to share a couple of stories from my own youth. And it's Joe's full name here. So the law enforcement, no. When I was in elementary school, there was a guy who lived in a Motel 6. As a kid, that was the coolest shit I had ever heard of. And we thought he must be rich. Even better, if you stole a bag of specialty hardware screws from Home Depot, he'd give you $5 for it.
Oh,
wow!
Specialty screws.
Yeah, special screws. That sounds. I mean, I don't know what he's doing with the screws, but I feel like anyone that was living in a Motel 6 and paying kids to do stuff for him was probably
extremely cool
and extremely cooking meth in that motel room.
No.
They hate it when you cook meth in a motel room.
Let me tell you.
Don't I know it?
They got to bring in a hazmat team. There's all sorts of shit that has to go on to make a room that was used for cooking meth suitable for other human beings to be in.
You will not get that deposit back.
Yeah, that is not. Pay cash if you're going to do. And then he goes on. In college, I worked for a taxi company on weekends and met a guy who ran a trap house. Occasionally, he'd have a person run out of money, but they still wanted drugs. When this happened, I'd run their credit card as if they'd taken a cab ride, give half to them, and pocket the rest. That way they could buy drugs on their credit card.
What?
That sounds pretty illegal.
Oh yeah, that's I mean that's like
stories problems.
That's practically a laundering. Maybe laundering is a strong term, but that is yes. There's
absolutely money laundering. Number one.
Yeah, there's So congratulations, Joe. That's one of the most illegal things I think anyone's written into the podcast about.
I hope they're not from Michigan because Joe's a common name, but this might ring a couple bells for people.
Hey, statute of limitations on this shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, he says these days most of my adult friends had hustle-free childhoods, so it's good to hear I wasn't the only one out there getting up to shit. You're welcome, Joe. And Joe, and thank you.
Good on you, Joe,
for your service.
Yes, thank you for your service to the trap house and everyone who had to be there.
I had a group of friends that called their house the trap house. And the youngest member of this house did not know the other definition of trap house.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And she would regularly talk about the trap house at the coffee shop we all worked at in front of our police enforcement customers. And a lot of the time, some of them would come to me afterwards on the side of the bar and be like, I heard one of you guys talking about a trap house. What kind of trap house is this?
Like in Home Alone.
Yeah.
I think she might have thought that was I think she thought that was the definition of a trap house.
That's actually a really good joke. If Home Alone came out in 2022, it would just be called Trap House.
Trap House.
That being said, I think I don't know what was in the air that night, but I listened to Trap Queen by Fetty Wap, and then it just hit me on an emotional level. Fetty Wap, where are you?
Yeah.
I had a neighbor that I swear to God was cooking something. I don't know what, but some sort of thing you're not supposed to cook.
How do you know?
I don't know. Because, first of all, okay, here's the list of evidence. Here's the list of evidence, all right?
Okay.
This neighbor was a floor beneath me and also, the other side of the building. And yet, I would smell very strange smells coming through, the ventilation system. It was basically, this kind of soldering, a chemical, burny, not, weird smell. So I tried to call and this is a normal ass apartment complex situation, my old apartment, and I called the super whoever come on by and whatever. So they send a couple maintenance men, and one of them is just oh, they're probably cooking food. We got a lot of ethnic people in this building. I'm just what the fuck? I don't know what culture would cook that smells like soldering or metals melting, but fuck
Robots?
you. No, that's not food. I know what food smells like. This is not a food smell. So just totally, shrug that off. And then a week or so later, the fire alarms in the building start going off. And I'm smelling a very strange smoky smell. It's not a normal smoke smell. And I kind of I go off to go to work and I pass by these people's door and the door is wide open. And there's some smoke in there. It's not actively a fire, but it's kind of the aftermath of a kitchen fire or something like that, where it's just the haze is there, right? Smells weird.
Yeah.
So I'm just okay, it's them that had the issue with sort of fire going off. And then later when I come back from work, the door's closed. There is a spaghetti pot outside, right? Big ass, stainless steel or whatever spaghetti pot. it has a hole burnt clear through the bottom of the spaghetti pot.
Whoa.
And the lid of the spaghetti pot was nearby, and it was a dark yellow sulfur looking color.
Okay.
So meth.
I took a picture of this, right? So I took a picture of this and I was just like, yo, what happened downstairs? Like, trying to figure this out. We actually asked like a chemist friend of ours, like, does this track with like meth production? And she was like, you know what? That yellow could be like sulfur. So I think, yes, that could potentially be a meth situation going on there. I asked like one of the maintenance guys, like, what happened with that fire the other day? I saw something kind of sketch outside. It looked like they managed to burn through a spaghetti pot that's metal. I don't know what kind of cooking fire that would be.
I don't know what kind of fire that is.
And he explained that there was a microwave fire in that apartment. And I was like, oh, they put
maybe they put the pot in the microwave like a fucking true dumbass.
Yeah,
trying to make meth faster, you know?
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
I was like, they put a pot in the microwave and burnt a hole through it in the microwave.
Something's not adding up here.
Something's not tracking, and he was just like, "You'd be surprised."
It sounds like it might have been a trap apartment.
Yeah, like I don't
in a trap complex.
It sounds like
how convenient. How
the
convenient
maintenance guy was a buyer.
Yeah, I think so. How convenient that couple moved soon after that, and also because I worked from home at the time, I would constantly see this very, very thin woman running back and forth between that apartment and another apartment with a plastic bag with a jug in it. And just like
where did you live, Jess? Where are you?
A normal fucking place in Illinois. A normal place, but the world's skinniest woman was transferring something to somewhere else.
Wow.
Happened to live in that apartment, left under mysterious circumstances after burning a hole through a spaghetti pot somehow. So I don't know what was going on. It was really shady. Anyone in the comments, any other potential?
No more irresponsible conjecture.
Yeah.
I would love more
You
conjecture.
never know.
I would love more conjecture.
Yeah.
I want more theories.
Yeah, it was just Full Metal Alchemy happening in that apartment. Josh from Los Angeles writes in with another criminal confession.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
I had an autographed Boondock Saints poster hanging on my wall when I was in college, and I'm very, very sorry. That's the full email. That's it. That's it.
I mean, to be fair, like I'm assuming you're in your maybe 30s, early 40s, where that was probably acceptable behavior for when you were in college. I think the court of public opinion will dismiss the case. You were a victim of circumstance and time. We didn't know. We were just kids back then. We didn't know. We didn't know what was going on. And we grew up and we made mistakes, but we grew up. So you're forgiven.
Yeah.
Going
yeah. A lot of cleansing going on this episode.
Yeah, like just by all means, send in your crimes. Yeah. Send in your crimes, and we'll
maybe from a different email than you normally use.
Say if you want to be like kept anonymous, we will honor that, of course.
Or at least lie about what state you're from.
I mean, and we'll tell you what your sentence should be.
Yeah,
we will sentence you.
Generally speaking, we will say,
like we just threw that case out.
Yeah, we're throwing that case out.
So
trap house taxi guy, hey.
Yeah, you're doing time.
Nah. What's that? That's not. Yeah, it's fine.
I feel like we got to draw a line somewhere. And the most illegal, crime-ridden email in the history of this podcast, we got to throw the book at this guy.
It's a victimless guy. Those people were going to buy drugs anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yep. Okay. Well, that's The judge has rules.
We're sticking it to those credit card companies.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. We're fucking Tyler.
It's a victimless crime. It's like stealing cable. All right, last email from Ben in Boston, who wants to know about Street Fighter 3. Was the initial fan backlash against Street Fighter 3 because players didn't like having so many new characters, or was it because so many of those new characters were creepy, repulsive weirdos? Aura alone was enough to make me feel grimy, but then throw in reprobates like Necro and Gil, and it's hard to blame people for being viscerally turned off. Even Dudley with his suspenders and mustache kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The whole thing just felt skeezy, and it's hard to blame anyone who longed for more innocent times. Jason, what do you think?
It's a little bit of both for sure. These new characters,
Ooh, he's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness. Like, I never found a character that I liked in Third Strike. I'd have to stick with Ken or Ryu, and that was that, because
I love Dudley. I came to love Dudley.
Well, yeah, he's got a cool rose that he throws and stuff. Yeah,
he keeps it classy, and I like that.
But yeah, they're fucking weirdos. You got the one-armed Oro. You got,
and there's so many frames of animation in their creepy, wiggly fucking thing. It just
yes.
These guys are weird.
Yeah.
Elena's cool though.
Yeah,
she's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely when that game first came out, it was just like, ugh, all these. It's just like a bunch of sickos, creeps. And then 2 karate men, and you're like, all right.
Give me the karate man.
I like Sean a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the creepiest one of them all with his basketball, his sleeveless shirt.
I'm looking up. Okay, Necro. First of all, wild guy. He can he can stretch like rubber. He's a man who was experimented on by the Illuminati. And then a different guy that was mentioned, Gil, is a fantastical man who can control fire and ice and is president of the secret society Illuminati.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's all tied together.
That rules. The rules.
Yeah, no, that's people were not ready for that game when it first came out because it was too fucking wild. And by the time Third Strike came around, I think they had added more normal look. I don't know, Hugo, even just the animation, this weird wiggly cartoony fucking stuff I thought was just off-puttingly weird looking, but
uncanny.
Yes, but now I think we can look back on it and be like, yeah, okay, it's a cool game, but I just don't like playing as any of those characters.
Yep, same. That was the one thing that really drove me away.
Ibuki, now we're talking.
Ibuki's great.
Yeah,
she can stay.
Yeah, and that's gonna do it for this edition of the Giant Bombcast. Thanks everyone for watching. Tomorrow, the Arcade Pit returns to Giant Bomb, as well as we've got a quick look of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands coming your way.
So the Arcade Pit is going to be Team Fancy Cats, me and Jan, versus Team Butts, Jeff Gersman and Jason.
2T's 1Z.
Which is probably the preview of the final too, but
I believe we are both teams undefeated, so one of us will finally taste bitter defeat.
Wow!
Tomorrow,
is there a bracket posted somewhere?
We're doing,
there's points and standings. If you are that interested, you can go check out giantbomb.com/show notes.
Got it.
There's standings there. Personal stats. Goals, assists, penalty minutes, all those can be found.
Good. No, you need all that stuff. I want to see how many minutes I've had on the ice, how many minutes I've had drawing the best toad to ever exist.
Time drawing is
I'm going to say, I think I am the only person this so far in Arcade Pit that has beat Smite.
It's true.
Yes,
it's true.
Would you really? Would you beat him in
Wix, my new favorite game of all time.
It's got to be somebody.
I was a Wix savant.
Yeah, didn't know you were a Wix guy.
Walked him at Wits.
Yeah,
awesome. Also, Run for the Hills coming back on Friday. That is going to be us, me and Jan, venturing to Silent Hill 2 this time, the fan favorite. That should be really fun.
2 times the radios.
More fog.
I bought a second set of running shoes just for this.
Yeah.
2 silent, 2 hills.
We'll be sure to check that out on Friday as well. Thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic week. We'll see you back here next Tuesday. See you soon. Bye.